Swing right in a shot. He scores! Brett Hall! Down to Brett Hall. Back to Brindamore. The Brown drive. He scores! Jeff Brown! By one hand across the lead line and drive. He scores!
St. Louis Blues hockey is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Southwest Airlines, providing frequent flights of low unrestricted fares to many exciting destinations. By your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Brocklin GMC. By your local McDonald's restaurants. We're your favorites for food, folks, and fun. By Shop and Save. The more you shop, the more you save. By Allstate for home, auto, life, and business. You're in good hands with Allstate. By Hardee's, all kinds of good stuff. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
The Forum in snowy Montreal, Quebec, Canada. They'll have a full house as always, and two of the NHL's top teams get together tonight. The St. Louis Blues and the Montreal Canadiens. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Canada. I'm Ken Wilson, along with John Kelly. Well, the Blues have a very good team, maybe as good a team as there is in the National Hockey League. And when Brian Sutter was asked just moments ago about the Canadiens, he said simply, they're a lot like us. They play the same style. They have the same kind of talent. So we clearly have two good teams. And, John, the Blues have had an exceptional road trip.
Well, so far, so good. They have gotten 5 out of 6 points on the road trip. And last night in Quebec, a real character builder, I think, Ken. The Blues were trailing 4-3 after 2, got the shorthanded goal. Did not play particularly well in the third period. But I thought Brian Sutter did a good job in that third. He shortened his bench, and he got the team playing well.
We mentioned that these are two of the top teams in the National Hockey League. The Blues with 55 points are third overall.
8 points behind Chicago. The Blues have 3-point games in hand on the Hawks. The Hawks are home tonight against Minnesota, so we'll watch the out-of-town scoreboard.
And, of course, Montreal tied for 6th overall in the 21-team National Hockey League. How has Montreal been going? Boy, they are the hottest team in the National Hockey League right now, having won, John, 5 in a row.
And they've lost only 1 game in their last 11, and traditionally they have played well here at the Forum over the years, and especially against the Blues. The Blues have only 7 wins here in their 23-year history.
Victories are very hard to come by in this building here on St. Catherine Street in Montreal. The Blues have played very well lately. The defense was a little shaky there for a few games, but defense, well, it has returned. The club's been stingy lately.
Only 3 goals against in their last 4 games. And consider, Ken, when the Blues allow 3 goals or less this year, their record is 22-3-4. So 3 is the magic number. If they hold the opposition to under that number, they will most likely get a point or 2.
This is called historic Montreal and the historic Forum. I think maybe around the NHL, players like coming here to play more than anywhere else. This is quite a building. There's a lot of atmosphere, and we have 2 very good hockey teams in the Blues and the Canadiens ready to go in this one. So sit back and get ready to enjoy the Blues and the Canadiens from the Forum. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Miss Therese Garrard with our national anthems here in Montreal as the Blues and Canadiens get set to meet for the 2nd time this year. Tonight's referee is Marc Fawcett, and the linesmen Pierre Champeau and Gerard Gauthier. Blues won over Montreal 3-0 back in St. Louis on October 27th as Riendo got the shutout, stopping 27 of 27 shots. He was opposed that night by Patrick Waugh. But it won't be Riendo in nets tonight for the Blues. Curtis Joseph gets a start in nets tonight. He's played in 19 games. His last game was against the Rangers, and he kicked out 24 of 26 shots in the 3-2 win. Patrick Waugh has won 4 in a row since missing 9 games with a knee injury, and he's back in top form, and he's in nets tonight for Montreal. Here we go at the first period, and to tell you about it from the Forum in Montreal, the Shrine of Hockey, here is Ken Wilson.
Thank you very much, John Kelly. Let's get ready to go here as Wilson will face off against Carbonneau. Ron Wilson started his career in the Canadiens organization. The Blues have somewhat of a Montreal connection, and they control the puck in their own line. Scott Stevens, the captain, on defense with Jeff Brown, has it to center ice to Wilson. He's slowed up, but Gino Cavallini on the line with Wilson and Hull sweeps the puck in. Desjardins on defense with Daigneault. Clears the puck out. It's controlled there by Russ Courtnall, and a quick shot is right on, and the save by Joseph. Of course, we've got brothers, Jeff Courtnall of the Blues and Russ Courtnall of Montreal in this game. Gino Cavallini's pass for Hull too far. Eric Desjardins clears the zone, and it's center ice. Hull leaves the puck for Scott Stevens, who wears number 2. Over to Marois. Now to Ron Wilson, back to Marois, over to Stevens. The Blues still in their own end. Now to center ice, they lose the puck. Desjardins shoots it right back in. Curtis Joseph, appearing at the Forum for the first time in his life, clears it away, and the Blues move to center ice. Ron Wilson with a puck. He'll backhand it in, and the Blues and Canadiens will change players here at the 1-minute mark of the opening period. Montreal to center ice. Skrudland tries to shoot it in. Mario Marois breaks up the play. Stickhandles through center ice. Now to Oates, looking for Courtnall. A pass for Courtnall goes wide of the Montreal net. Odeline takes Courtnall out. Then Oates steals the puck in front for Courtnall, and it's tipped away. Odeline, who played at Peoria a few years ago, loses it. Lowry sweeps it behind the Montreal net. Swoboda knocked off the puck, and Patrick Waugh clears it. Now the Canadiens. Odeline again clears the center ice into the Blues zone. Shane Corson after it, chops at it with Marois. They go with a puck behind the Blues net. It's loose. Lowry run into a battle for the puck behind the St. Louis net. It's centered, and a shot is tipped away. A good chance there for Shane Corson. The Blues shoot the puck the length of the ice. Odeline touches it for Montreal, and that is an icing call against the Blues.
Canadiens coach Pat Burns has a lot of respect for the St. Louis Blues. Burns in his 3rd year. As a matter of fact, the Canadiens coach says the Blues are the best team in the Campbell Conference, and he thinks Brian Sutter should be coach of the year. Pretty heady words from the Canadiens coach.
Interesting today around practice time, he sat with the Montreal media. They all felt Chicago had the best team in the Campbell Conference, and Pat Burns said, no, I would take the St. Louis Blues.
Well, the Blues beat Montreal back in St. Louis, as I mentioned, 3-0. That was back in October, and these two teams have 2 of the best records in the entire league. The Blues 3rd overall, and Montreal tied for 6th overall.
The face-off to Curtis Joseph's right. Denny Savard centering Sylvain Turgeon. Stéphane Richer for Montreal. Lefebvre and Schneider are the defensemen up at the points for this face-off. Bassett against Savard. They were teammates at Chicago, and the Blues win the draw. Brown behind the net into the corner to Scott Stevens. He'll head man to Bassett. On the left wing, Brind'Amour. Sutter on the right wing, and Bassett shoots the puck in. Patrick Waugh clears to the corner. Bassett knocks the puck down. Brind'Amour is knocked down by Savard, who sends a pass out on the left wing to the former Whaler and Devil, Sylvain Turgeon. He's run out of the play, and the Blues play it in their own zone. Richer trying to steal. He's unable to. Now Denny Savard in the corner. He's run into, and Basson gets the puck to Brind'Amour, but he can't get it out, and finally Basson does. Here the Canadiens at their own line. Lefebvre gets it ahead to Turgeon. He's stopped by Jeff Brown. He can't go anywhere. And Matthew Schneider chops the puck in, and the Blues will play it at their defense. 2.5 minutes have gone by. No score. Richer steals from Scott Stevens. A feed on the right wing for Savard by him, and the Blues trying to gain possession. Richer in the corner battles Brind'Amour, who gets the puck to Ron Wilson. The veteran at center ice with a right wing feed that's broken up. Now both teams are changing players. Here's a pass from Sylvain Lefebvre too far, and the Blues end up with a puck in their own end. Jeff Brown has it to Scott Stevens. Now the lines have been changed. Up to Wilson, to Gino Cavallini, and his for Hull too far at the Montreal line. And the Canadiens, Russ Courtnall back for the puck. He'll get it ahead to Brian Skrudland. Now to Mike McPhee, back to Courtnall. He's got great speed like his brother in the slot. Courtnall, and he's poke checked. And Russ Courtnall getting the crowd excited, and the puck back in the Montreal end for the veteran J.J. Daigneault. He is the senior member of the Montreal Defense Corps. He's a 25-year-old. And the Canadiens ice the puck, and the whistle stops play. No score here at the Forum in Montreal, and a good quick pace in the early going. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I check for a living, and I've been checking out the deals at your Midwest GMC dealers. This Safari minivan is a real performer. Roomy interior, rear anti-lock brakes, and 4.3-liter V6 power are standard. All-wheel drives, tow packages, acres of conversions. Hundreds to choose from. Your Midwest GMC dealers. Another reason why GMC vans are #1. Check them out.
Only at Bellman GMC in North County, Bomarito GMC in Ellisville, and Brocklin GMC in Fairmont City, Illinois.
No score, 16:31 left first period. Jean-Claude Bergeron behind the Canadiens bench, the backup goalie. The other goaltender on the roster, Andre Rosicko, who's a rookie. He's been sent to Fredericton. Brian Hayward held out in training camp, the other goaltender on Montreal's roster at the beginning of the year, and he has since been traded to Minnesota. So the Canadiens have 2 rookies behind Waugh.
And Patrick Waugh, when healthy, will play a lot. Oates up front with Jeff Courtnall and Brett Hull. A face-off in the Montreal end. Canadiens get the puck. Desjardins right wing to Mike King. The little left winger to Corson over the line. He's forced to the corner. Centers! And Keane tied up by Sneps. Jeff Courtnall ahead to Oates. 2-on-2. Hull on the right wing. The puck shot into the corner. Comes in front. And Daigneault gets there ahead of Hull. Now Daigneault takes Oates out, and here's Skrudland behind the Montreal net. Brian Skrudland, who'll be in the All-Star game in Chicago, loses it. Hull to Sneps. His screen shot is deflected well wide. Jeff Courtnall for the Blues in the slot to Hull, and he takes a shot, and it deflects over the Montreal goal in the glass and into the crowd. And very quickly, Blues coach Brian Sutter is going to change players. Brett Hull, everywhere we go, John, they are talking about number 16.
And well, they shared 44 goals in 44 games. He did not score last night in Quebec, but did pick up an assist, and he has a point in 5 straight games, 6 goals and 2 assists during that span. Not dressed tonight for the Blues. Paul Cavallini remains home in St. Louis with a finger injury. Scratch Rick Mahar, Herb Ragland, and Robert Dirk. And Paul McLean is back in the lineup. Not dressed tonight for Montreal. Ryan Walter, Mark Peterson, Benoit Brunet, Donald Dufresne, Todd Ewan, and Stéphane Lebeau.
Andrew Castles wins the faceoff from Cliff Ronning, and Montreal works to center ice. Tom Chorsky shoots it in. Cleared to the corner by Joseph. Marois tries to get it out, does, and it's brought back in offside by Peter Swoboda, the 24-year-old Czechoslovakian defenseman. You'd almost think, you look at this fella, John Swoboda, he's very small, 174-pounder. His shoulder pads have got to be smaller than any shoulder pads worn in this league, and he looks like he plays at about 150.
Well, he's a very talented player out of Czechoslovakia. He just signed a new contract. He was having all kinds of contract problems, but just signed a new 1-year contract at $650,000 a year.
And he'll dart back into his own end for the puck. Waugh comes out, plays it away, and Gilchrist has it. He's on with Castles and Chorsky. That's the forward line for Montreal. Up the right wing, the Minnesota native Tom Chorsky in over the line, bumped by Featherstone, and Ronning clears the puck out to center ice. Swoboda plays it. He's on defense with Lyle Odeline. Canadiens Odeline up to center ice, now to Castles, into the Blues zone. His pass to Gilchrist, now to Swoboda, moving in, a shot, deflection right in front, the save, another save, and the Blues clear it away. Close in, Curtis Joseph, a couple of saves. Now the puck takes a bad bounce off the glass in the corner right to the Blues goalie, and Joseph smothers it to stop play here at the 5:01 mark of this scoreless first period.
Curtis grew up in the Toronto area, was born in Keswick, Ontario, near Toronto, and he grew up a Maple Leaf fan, but he is playing in his first ever game here in the Forum, and he was a bit nervous before the game, Ken, but so far he's looked sharp, and he just made a pad save on Castles, or rather Swoboda, moments ago. I mentioned Swoboda had contract problems. He also has an ulcer, and I don't know if those two are related or not, but he has to watch his diet now with that ulcer.
Pat Burns saying today that his club has really settled down after the contract problems with a number of players and a lot of early season injuries. He says they're starting to roll now. They actually have 28 players here in Montreal, way too many. And he says after tonight's game, they're going to send some players out to the American Hockey League. Now the Blues getting ready to line up. Savard on again with Turgeon, Richer. What a potent offensive line this is for the Canadiens. Basson against Savard for the faceoff near the Blues net. And the Blues win the draw. Scott Stevens on with Brown. Can't clear the puck out. Loses it in front. A battle for it. Here's Turgeon. A shot. He scores. The 2-time 40-goal scorer, Sylvain Turgeon, his first season with the Canadiens, makes it 1-0. Scott Stevens had problems with a puck in the corner, and it costs.
Well, the Blues were a bit sloppy as they did not protect the slot very well. The puck was loose there, and Turgeon had all kinds of time. 2 Blues were around him, and the Blues gave him too much room, and he gets his 2nd goal of the year. Of course, Turgeon has missed most of this year, coming off surgery for an abdominal tear. He missed the first 33 games, so he gets a second of the year.
Second goal in 9 games. At center ice, Jeff Brown for the Blues. Moves in over the line, is checked, and Richer starts out. And the Canadiens are stopped at center ice, and Brind'Amour shoots it in. Wow, leaves it for Matthew Snyder, the Rhode Island product. He's number 8, and he stands behind the Montreal net. He's on defense with Sylvain Lefebvre. And it comes up to Savard, now to Lefebvre. He'll wrist it in, and the puck bounds off the boards into the near corner for Rod Brind'Amour. Montreal leads it 1-0. Savard steals the puck from Brind'Amour. Now it's high in the air, and it comes down to Rich Sutter. Great pass at center ice to Basson, trying to split the defense. A pass in front for Brind'Amour, and he didn't expect it. Now he centers from the corner to the blue line. Brown, a shot right on, and wow, the save on Jeff Brown. Here's a battle for the puck in the corner, and Lefebvre gets it to Richer, and he tips it to center ice. Jeff Brown beats Sylvain Turgeon to it and tips it in, and both teams change here as play continues. Schneider to Lefebvre in the Montreal end, up at center ice to Guy Carbonneau. Now to Mike McPhee, the veteran, over the line. Drops it for Courtnall, a shot, and the Russ Courtnall shot hits a skate and goes wide. The Blues move the puck to center ice, but the Canadiens have possession. Now Eric Desjardins, a 21-year-old, hands it to Hull. Hull knocked down as he was winding up to shoot, and the Canadiens clear it out. Snaps at his own line to Jeff Brown. Jeff Brown, a pass to Hull near the red line. He's poke checked by Russ Courtnall, and back goes helmetless Harold Snaps behind the Blues net for the puck. It's 1-0 Montreal with 13:10 to go here in the opening period. Now Ron Wilson leaves the Blues attack, and he's stopped at the Montreal line by McPhee. At center ice, a battle for the puck, and it goes to Snaps. Turgeon gets that goal unassisted at 5:10, the only goal here in the first period. Tom Tilley in his own territory, up to Gino Cavallini, right wing to Ron Wilson, moving in with Hull. He gives it to Hull. Hull turns at the right point, backhands the puck towards the net. It's knocked down by Daigneault. He leaves it behind the net for Carbonneau, and now Russ Courtnall. Daigneault, the former Canuck and Flyer, carries to center ice. He'll blast it in just wide of the net. It comes out along the boards to Tilley. Montreal changing to Hull, now to Oates. Oates in over the line. Drops the puck for Hull. He moves to the slot, and both Keane and Carbonneau there to crunch it. Glenn Featherstone stick handling with a puck in the neutral zone. Runs into trouble, namely Mike Keane. The puck over the line. Skrudland trying to move in. Centers for Keane. Lowry all over him. Skrudland in the corner. Out to the right point. Over the line. A shot off Curtis Joseph's glove. Marois for the Blues behind his net. Dangerously in front of the goal. Gives off to Jeff Courtnall. Long right wing pass to Lowry. Moving in over the line against Svoboda. A shot. Good save by Juan Lowry. Now at the point, Featherstone. A shot right on, and Juan, a save as Lowry was in front trying to deflect it by the young Montreal goaltender. The Canadiens lead it 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
This is never going to work. Hey, relax. Anybody can send roses.
Excuse me, we didn't order these. Ian, what's this?
Hi.
Did they really expect us to call them?
I'm telling you. Hello.
The only goal so far tonight, Sylvain Turgeon, second of the year, unassisted at 5:10. We have 11:50 left in the first period. And Ken, I've noticed a couple of things early. It's been a very quick pace, something we expected, and the Blues have come out hitting, something we don't see a lot.
Boy, you come here and you better expect to skate, if nothing else. Puck in the Montreal end, and Skrudland for the Canadiens comes to center ice. Now to Keane on the left wing, trying to cut in. A pass in front, and there'll be a penalty. There'll be a penalty against the Blues as Shane Corson was cutting in on the right wing, and the fifth-year Canadian was taken down, and Mark Fawcett will call the game's first penalty. The Canadiens are on top. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Jeff Courtnall picks up the first penalty of the night, holding at 8:20 as he was back-checking. He pulled down a Canadian. As Keane worked in on left wing, he threw the puck in front, and Courtnall did too good a job of back checking, and the Canadiens go on a power play. They've struggled on the power play this year, 19th overall at 15.6%, and they've faced the 6th best penalty killing unit in the league. The Blues have killed off 82.8% of all power plays.
From the faceoff in the Blues zone, Desjardins at the right point has the puck back to Turgeon, and then he's poke checked, and the Canadiens will retreat into their own end. Pat Burns, the Canadiens coach, saying even though his club's power play is 19th in the league, that it has improved over a year ago. Here's Richer to center ice over the line, and then the Canadiens are offside some 21 seconds into their first power play of the game. Pat Burns saying, John, that he'll use 3 different units now on the power play. He says, you know, I think last year and earlier this year I was too patient, giving my power play too much chance. Now, he says, I throw out a unit, I give them 60 seconds. If they don't have any sustained pressure, I yank them off. So he says, I'll even go with my checking line on the power play if no one else is doing anything.
Well, you mentioned it's better than last year. It can't get much worse. In the final, or the second round series last year against Boston, when they lost in 5 games, Montreal's power play was 0 for 20.
Boy, they really struggled on the power play last year. That seemed to be all they talked about here in Montreal, was the lack of production on their power play.
And that's why they made the trade for Savard.
Here's Montreal in their own end with the man advantage. Just under 11 to go in the first period. The Canadiens already lead it. Desjardins at his own blue line with some fancy stick work. Now to Savard, right wing to Turgeon over the line, and he's checked, and the puck cleared out by Sutter. The Blues now killing the penalty with Wilson, Lowry, Brown, and Stevens. And Montreal starting out from behind their own net. Desjardins to Schneider at center ice, right over the center dot. And he'll backhand the puck in. Joseph out of the crease stops the puck behind the net for Jeff Brown. 50 seconds to go in the Blues penalty. Blues clear it through center ice all the way back into the Montreal zone, and the Blues are not allowing the Canadiens to do anything here with the man advantage. And good forechecking. Ron Wilson steals the puck. Slap shot deflected right on. Right to Juan. He grabs the puck in his trapper, and it was Canadiens defenseman Eric Desjardins, the 21-year-old, who actually deflected the puck and turned it on goal.
You're right. Lowry was in front looking for a deflection, but the Canadian player tipped it, and that's a no-no. When you're a defenseman in front of the goal, if a shot comes through, the best thing to do, Ken, is get your stick out of the way and let the goalie handle it. I'm not sure if Desjardins tried to block it or it just inadvertently hit his stick, but it turned into a pretty good scoring chance for the Blues.
It's hard to imagine an NHL defense any younger than Montreal. Swoboda 24, Odeline 22, Daigneault the veteran at 25, Desjardins 21, Schneider is 21, and Lefebvre is only 23. They had some retirements. Larry Robinson went west, and boy, they go with the youngsters.
Well, Swoboda's the only man left from that defensive core which took the team to the finals in '88, so they have had a big changeover on defense.
And the thing is that the defense plays pretty well, which I think even surprises Montreal coach Pat Burns. Blues are shorthanded in the face-off in the Canadiens' end. Montreal controlling. Daigneault with the puck. Stick handling up to his own line. Now to the center circle. He'll blast her in. Joseph lets it go around behind the net. Played by Corson on the far side into the corner. And it's stolen by Oates. Quickly to Rich Sutter. He'll skate with it to center ice. His long shot off the end boards. Caroms all the way to center ice to Andrew Castles. 10 seconds until Jeff Courtnall's back. Corson gets it in. Here's Castles behind the net for Montreal. Out to Swoboda. Left point to Daigneault. The shot. A shot pass blocked by Oates. Courtnall back on the ice. The pass to him at center ice. A partial break. And then Swoboda comes back to dump him. Both teams at full strength now. And the Canadiens lead it 1-0. Swoboda at center ice. Over to Daigneault into the Blues zone. And he pulls up at the right point. 4 Blues there to take the puck away. Montreal changing. Here it is to Hall on the near right wing. He'll blast her in off the glass in the corner. Oates comes in, runs into Daigneault, doesn't get the puck, then centers it. Hole's there in front, knocking it down with his glove, and a shot by Jeff Courtnall, and Waugh makes a save. Well, that puck was taking all sorts of weird bounces, and the Blues were almost able to take advantage. 1-0, Montreal. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
1-0 for the Canadiens. 9:03 left in the opening period. These two teams have 2 of the best defensive records in the entire NHL. The Blues have allowed 131 goals, an average of 2.93. That's second best. Montreal not far behind at 3.01. and they are third best in defense.
Here's a quick shot by Jeff Courtnall off the faceoff stop. Here's Brett Hull now behind the net. Knocked down by Schneider. In the corner, Ron Wilson sends it behind the goal, and Desjardins takes over, then loses it for Montreal. Jeff Courtnall pushes it loose. Centers from behind the net. In front to Scott Stevens. He's poke check. Now to Jeff Brown. A shot and a skate save by Waugh. Hull back to the point to Brown. He tries again. A pad save. Scott Stevens keeps the puck in. And finally, it's cleared out by the Canadiens. Two outstanding saves by Patrick Waugh and Jeff Brown. Jeff Courtnall up the right wing over the line. His shot rejected by Schneider. Then Carbonneau knocked down. That allows Ron Wilson to get the puck in front. The Hull, a shot blocked by Desjardins. And the Canadiens. Russ Courtnall sends a pass to Mike McPhee at center ice. Over the line. Stick handling into the corner. He centers for Russ Courtnall, and the puck gets away, and Jeff Brown leaves it behind the net for Ron Wilson. He leaves it for Stevens. Up to Momesso, the former Montreal Canadien. Momesso to center ice, loses the puck, but Ron Wilson gets it and dumps it in. Back for it goes Lyle Odeline, the 22-year-old. He gets it to Savard, to Turgeon, stopped at center ice, then Ronning almost loses it to Turgeon, and the Blues come out of their zone only to have Momesso see the puck slip away. He chases Swoboda, gets the puck back in front of the Canadiens bench and fires it in. There's 7:30 to go in the first period. Montreal has the only goal, and now there'll be a penalty as the Canadiens interfere with Cliff Ronning. 1-0. Montreal on top. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Lyle Odeline interfered with Cliff Ronning behind the play. He goes off at 12:30. The Blues get their first power play, trailing 1-0. Blues last night in Quebec City were 1 for 3 in the power play. They have only one power play goal in their last 10 opportunities. And on the year, the power play rated 16th, just under 17%. And the Canadiens' penalty killing rated 8th in the league at 82%.
The Blues have peppered 8 shots at Patrick Waugh. At the other end, the Canadiens have had 4 shots. They scored their goal when the Blues had the puck in their own end. And then Scott Stevens had trouble with it, and it came out to Turgeon to make it 1-0. So the Blues on the power play. Face off in Montreal's territory. Brind'Amour against Skrudland, who wins it. Desjardins in the corner sees an opening and smashes the puck down the ice. The Blues have Brown and Stevens, or Brown and Oates rather, on the points. Ronning up front with Brind'Amour, and who else but Brett Hull. Left wing to Brind'Amour. He'll shoot it in. Then Waugh stops the puck behind the net. Leaves it for Daigneault. He takes a hit but gets the puck off in the corner. And Skrudland trying to clear it. Hits the linesman in the leg right in front of the Montreal bench, Gerard Gauthier. He really got creamed, and he blew his own whistle to stop play. He was up on the boards in front of the Canadiens bench, but just didn't have anywhere to go quickly enough.
And that hurts if you've ever been hit in the leg. There's no padding behind the leg on the backside, at least very little, and Gauthier will shake that off. Eric Desjardins has turned into a pretty good defenseman for the Montreal hockey team now in his 3rd year. He has a point in at least 5 consecutive games, and on the year has 18 points. And Kenyon mentioned this defense. It's very young, but all the defensemen have one thing in common. They are all very quick and very mobile, and that seems to be the way the defenses of the 90s will be. Very quick and able to move the puck very nicely up the ice.
Face off outside the Montreal blue line, and Hull gets it at the checkered red line. Over the Montreal blue line along the boards, trying to force his way in. Still battling into the corner, and then Mike Keane gets the puck. He'll lose it. Now to Oates, left point to Brown, and his shot goes wide. Back to the right point it comes to Oates. Now to Ronning. He makes a nice move away from Skrudland, moves in, shoots, bad save, Waugh! Talk about being screened. What a save on Ronning. Here comes Montreal. 2-on-3. A Skrudland pass for Keane fails to click. And the Blues come back. Paul McLean at his own line. To Jeff Brown, left side to Cliff Ronning into the Montreal zone. Back to Hull along the near boards. Rink wide for Jeff Brown, but he had moved in, and the Canadiens come to center ice. Russ Courtnall against Oates. Bad angle, and a shot stopped by Joseph. Here's Hull back the other way. Right wing to Ronning into the Montreal zone. Now to McLean in the far corner. Paul McLean, bothered by Schneider, kicks the puck to Ronning. He finds room sometimes where there isn't room. 30 seconds to go in the Blues man advantage. They trail it 1-0. Back to the point to Oates. Hauls along the far boards. Right point to Brown. Straight away to Oates. He'll shoot. Right on the save again. Jeff Brown, a one-hand shot, a save. McLean, a shot, and one. Another save. And then Paul McLean being roughed up behind the net, and Jeff Brown steps in. Boy, Paul McLean and the Blues there peppering Patrick Waugh, but he just stood up and stopped all the shots that came his way.
Well, McLean back in the lineup. He did not play last night in Quebec City. As a matter of fact, he's played in only 4 of the last 10 games, and he had a very good chance on the rebound there. And after Waugh made the save, McLean did some pushing and shoving with Carbonneau, and they both go off. And it looks like we'll get coincidental minors here. 5:47 left in the opening period. The Canadiens lead 1-0. But the Blues have had a couple of good chances. Adam Oates is shooting the puck a lot more lately on the power play, and that shot resulted in a couple of good rebound tries. McLean at a bad angle. I don't think he saw Brett Hull on the other side of the goal, Ken, but Hull was wide open. Had McLean spotted him, Hull would have had an easy tip in, and then afterwards McLean was roughed up behind the net.
Well, when you face Patrick Waugh, the 25-year-old in his 6th season, you're facing one of the best goalies in the league. He is headed for the All-Star game Saturday in Chicago to play for the Wales Conference. And he's the kind of guy like a Ron Hextall. You might have a lot of scoring chances in a great game, but you might not get much. That's how good Patrick Waugh is. Face off in the Canadiens' end. Canadiens can't clear. Marois at the right point. Left point to Scott Stevens. A shot, and Hull can't turn it on goal. The puck's loose behind the net. Hull has it. Into the corner to Jeff Courtnall. The penalty just about up. Jeff Courtnall centers, and a shot by Stevens turned away by goaltender Patrick Waugh. Canadiens back at full strength. Marois drive from the point, and that's caught waist high by Waugh, and he holds it for a face-off. 5:21 to go in this exciting first period, and the Canadiens have the only goal. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I'm thinking of a steak, a thick, choice, juicy steak. Or maybe it'll be seafood, lobster, or swordfish. Chops sound good too. Pork, lamb, or veal. And for dessert, oh, this isn't fair. It's time to eat. I'm out of here. We hope to see you soon at Deerdorf and Hart's, the choice of St. Louis, in Westport Plaza and Union Station.
Canadiens lead 1-0. 5:21 to go in the opening period. Now the Blues checking line out there. Basson, Sutter, and Brind'Amour, and they will face the high-scoring Canadiens line featuring Denis Savard at center with Turgeon and Richer on the wings.
Moments ago, Scott Stevens with a good chance. He doesn't get many good chances in tight, but he had one there. Blues win the face-off. Marois. Screen shot right on. Waugh, the save. Loose puck in front. Basson can't get a stick on it, and it's cleared out to center ice. Marois has it. He'll leave it at center ice for Basson. He'll shoot it back in. This is that tenacious line of Basson, Sutter, and Brind'Amour. Canadiens, though, nicely come out of their own end. That's something most teams can't do against the forechecking of that line. Then Featherstone steps into Richer. He's stopped. Marois, right wing for Rich Sutter. He's moving slowly and just does get the puck to Featherstone. Now to center ice to Bassett. His feed for Rich Sutter broken up. Now he shoots it in, lifting it high, and it comes down behind the Montreal net. Quickly, the Blues change players. They trail it 1-0. Canadiens in their own zone. Schneider across for Richer. To Savard. Turgeon is the left wing. Denis Savard, the magic man, has the magic fail, and Oates steals the puck. To the point, Featherstone, a wrist shot, and it's tipped just wide of Patrick Waugh. And Lefebvre can't get it out, getting it up to Turgeon, but Marois pinches in, and finally the Canadiens clear to center ice. Glenn Featherstone has it. He'll wind her up, shoot it into the corner. It comes right in front of the net. Lowry, a shot, the save. A loose puck, and Schneider gets it for the Canadiens and clears it down the ice. Oh, Patrick Waugh was a little careless as that puck came off the end boards. Now the action has stopped. The Canadiens are called for icing. They lead it 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The Blues trail 1-0, but they've dominated this first period, out shooting the Canadiens 16-5. And Ken, one thing I've liked the Blues about in the first period, they've really jammed the net well, and they've created a lot of traffic in front of Waugh, and something will go in eventually.
Here is the face-off. It's won by Skrudland from Oates. When this period started, the Canadiens had the first 5 shots. Now Oates on a giveaway almost beats wide. And the Blues have had the last 16 consecutive shots in this period as the Canadiens move it to center ice, and off a skate, the puck back in the St. Louis end for Tilly. He'll clear to center ice for Hull. Over the line, one man back, Desjardins, and he poke checks Hull nicely. And Skrudland clears to center ice. Tilly across to Sneps. The Blues with 16 straight shots, including 4 on that recent power play. Over to Oates, over the line, back for Hull, and Brian Skrudland, known for his tenacious defensive play, back checks and steals the puck. Over to Shane Corson, getting hemmed in a bit. He just clears to center ice. Here is Sneps at his own blue line to Tom Tilly. Back to Harold Sneps. Now ahead on the left wing to Jeff Courtnall, too far. He'll race with Desjardins for the puck into the corner. Desjardins gets position with his body, and the puck slides over to Skrudland. Up on the left wing to Corson with Keane. They crisscross at center ice. Corson over the line. 4 Blues back to Keane, and he blasts it wide. And Jeff Courtnall of the Blues clears the puck to center ice. There's 2:45 to go in a good first period, and the Blues down 1-0. Castle's over the line, up past to Chorsky, and Gino Cavallini spins him around as he breaks to the net. And the Blues veteran will go off here for hooking, and we'll get a look at the second Montreal power play of this game.
Well, you can own a deluxe satellite system for just $1,995. Shipment can be sent anywhere in the U.S. Call Arnold Satellite Systems at 1-800-727-2911 for your deluxe satellite system. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Hunter, weeknights at 11.
A hooking call to Gino Cavallini at 17:21, and the Canadiens will get their second power play of the game. They lead 1-0 on that first power play. Ken, I don't think they had one shot on goal during the entire man advantage.
They struggled. The Blues didn't allow them to do much, and let's see what happens here. Ron Wilson chops the puck ahead, and Lowry comes flying up the right wing. 2 Canadiens back. Lowry poke checked by Desjardins. Still battles on in the corner, killing valuable time. Along the boards with Castles and Desjardins, who gets the puck up to Brent Gilchrist, who leaves it for Desjardins. He's on with Schneider. Also with Chorsky, Castles, and Gilchrist on the Montreal power play. They shoot it in. Scott Stevens can't clear it out. Here's Gilchrist into the corner to Castles. Back for Gilchrist. Chorsky's at the side of the net. Right point to Desjardins. Left point to Schneider. Shot deflected right on. And a save, and then Gilchrist is hurt. He may have got hit by the deflection. I'm not sure if the shot actually reached goaltender Curtis Joseph. I believe it skipped up and caught Brent Gilchrist, and he is down and injured, and this is something we have seen much too much of lately, those deflections that catch a player, in this case a player of Montreal coach Pat Burns. Gilchrist face down, lying flat on the ice.
Now, we saw that in New Jersey when Shanahan was hit in front of the net on a very similar play, and that's how Paul Cavallini injured his finger on a play in front of the net. It's really surprising more players aren't hit like that, and it appears that puck hit Gilchrist in the face area as it was let go from the left point by Schneider, and it was deflected by a Canadian player in the slot and came right up and hit Gilchrist in the face, and it looks to have hit him right above the left eye, and I think he's been cut.
He was practically holding hands with goalie Curtis Joseph. He was right in front. Well, there were 2 or 3 players between the shot and the origination of the shot and goaltender Curtis Joseph, and they'll help Brent Gilchrist off and down to the dressing room.
You know, there's only one thing better than a Blues win, and that's celebrating that win with an ice-cold Budweiser. Blues fans, this Bud's for you. Well, Gilchrist will go to the medical room here in Montreal. So Pat Burns' club down to 11 forwards, but most nights Burns, like a lot of coaches, shifts his lines around. But last night in the 4-1 win against the Capitals, Ken, he stuck with those 4 lines all night long, something he does not do very often.
He said today, he says, I moved my lines around a lot. Brian Sutter said he's a liar because he didn't change them at all last night, and he said it with a smile. Blues get the puck. shoot it into the Canadiens' end. The Blues are shorthanded. Less than 2 minutes to go. Here in the first period, Montreal leads it 1-0 on a goal by Sylvain Turgeon. Desjardins, who's seen a lot of ice time and really handled the puck a lot, has it at center ice. Up to Shane Corson over the line. It's tipped away and brought in offside by the youngster Andrew Castles, who's only 21 years of age.
Scott Stevens on defense, although he hasn't scored since early November, has 7 assists in his last 10 games. And certainly he has played well. He will represent the Blues along with Brett Hull in this Saturday's All-Star game in Chicago. The Canadiens have 2 players, Brian Skrudland, a center, and goaltender Patrick Waugh. And the Blackhawks, Ken, are very upset that Denny Savard was not added to the team. The All-Star game, of course, in Chicago, where Savard played for 10 years. And Bob Wolford has said that he will pay Savard's way to Chicago just so he can make an appearance at the All-Star game. And I guess when you consider the great years he had in Chicago, it would have been nice to see Savard in an All-Star uniform in the Windy City.
It'd be a nice touch if Denny was there. And I've traveled with Bob Pulford. I guarantee you he wouldn't pay, but Bill Wirtz, the owner, would. Pulley a little tight around the pockets. There's 1:30 to go in the first period. Gino Cavallini in the penalty box. Montreal, Swoboda to Daigneault at center ice to Corson, broken up, but the puck stays in the St. Louis end. Corson is knocked down. Bob Basson is there. Castle's there. And he gets a shot away in front, set up by Chorsky, and a stand-up save by Joseph. Sutter along the boards with Castles. Now to Chorsky. He's bumped. Blues still short-handed. Puck in the Blues end, comes behind the net. Jeff Brown wheels it around the boards, not out. Daigneault, a shot. That's high and wide. Under a minute to go in the period. And the Blues, Rich Sutter shoots the puck the length of the ice. Both teams are changing players here now with 50 seconds to go in the period. 1-0 Montreal. 5 seconds to go in Gino Cavallini's penalty. Daigneault at center ice, right wing for Swoboda. Now to Corson, he's pulled down by Sneps. Marois gets the puck, clears it, not out. Daigneault, a shot off the chest of Sneps. Gino Cavallini back on. The Blues can't clear. Corson taken out, but here's Savard in front to Richer, and he can't get a shot away as Marois had him closely covered. In the corner, Corson and Sneps. Sneps falls down, tries to get a face-off, trying to get a whistle, can't. Savard now loses the puck to Ron Wilson. Then it's Savard tying up Sneps. Corson to Richer. The Blues are really hemmed in their own end. 8 seconds to go in the period. It's centered, and Marois steals the puck 3-on-3 at center ice. He'll backhand it in. Wide. 2 seconds to go. Lowry in the corner, and there's the siren, and that is the end of the first period here at the Forum in Montreal, as the Blues have a very good period. They outshoot the Canadiens 17-6. They don't give Montreal much on the power play, but the Blues find themselves trailing 1-0 as Sylvain Turgeon scored his second goal of the year unassisted at 5:10. After 20 minutes, the Montreal Canadiens won, and the St. Louis Blues no score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Now stay tuned for Steve Schiff and Lorna Godwin for an update on the news, followed by Bob Ramsey in the Bud Light Sports Break.
For business or pleasure, on weekdays or weekends, at the Adams Mark Hotel, there's a night with your name on it. Come, share the excitement and stay with us in the heart of downtown St. Louis at the Adams Mark, the Hotel of St. Louis.
Emo's delivery. A strike to Frisch, catches it quick. Gibson takes the sign. Frisch is ready. Here it comes.
Emo's.
And it's a hit.
Original St. Louis style pizza. Only the freshest ingredients. Chosen best pizza by St. Louis Magazine readers 4 straight years. Now that's a record.
Good evening. We hope you're enjoying tonight's hockey game.
Here are some of the stories we're following for you this evening.
St. Louis County Police now have a revised composite of the suspect whom they think shot and critically wounded veteran officer Joanne Liscombe. Meanwhile, investigators continued their manhunt in North County today and their manned roadblocks. Officer Liscombe, who remains in critical condition, was shot in the head, presumably with her own gun. Police are offering a $10,000 reward to anyone with information leading to an arrest.
Some more bad news for employees of McDonnell Douglas. Official word should come tomorrow morning, as McDonnell Douglas is expected to announce approximately 600 to 800 more layoffs. Although McDonnell Douglas isn't spelling out why, the Aerospace Workers Union says not all of the layoffs are connected to the restructuring of the A-12 program.
And a South St. Louis girl last seen leaving for school on Friday is still missing. Police are looking for 11-year-old Alyssa South Braun. Today, nearly 3,000 circulars with Alyssa's picture on them were distributed to volunteers at Oak Hill Presbyterian Church near her home. Alyssa was last seen in the 300 block of Humphrey on her way to Classical Junior Academy. And we'll have the latest on these stories and much more on St. Louis 11 News at 9.
But coming up next, Rich Gould with a Budweiser Sports Break.
Nothing beats it.
Nothing beats it.
The one and only.
Nothing beats it.
The clean, the crisp, the cold. The king of beers.
Nothing beats the Bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats the Budweiser. Nothing beats the Bud.
Hi, everybody. This is the Bud Sports Break. I'm Rich Gould. So far, a fine road trip for the Blues. If they win tonight, Brian Sutter will come home all smiles, but they've got their work cut out for them tonight at the Forum in Montreal because the Blues are trailing 1-0. And here's how Montreal scored. Sylvain Turgeon with his second goal of the year. Coming up for Montreal right there. Slap shot. The Blues outshot the Habs badly, but nothing to show for it so far. It's 1-0 Montreal at the end of the first. Back to the Garden. Ken and John are standing by. And fellas, win, lose, or draw, it has been a good trip.
Well, it was an exciting period here at the Forum, Rich, no question about it. Montreal always likes to skate. They're a very talented team, and I think if nothing else, the Blues in that period proved that they're as good or better than the Canadiens. It was a very good period, John, for the Blues, no question.
Well, when you have 15 shots on goal and allow the opposition 6 shots, you deserve better fate than a 1-0 deficit. And can we mention the Canadiens had 5 shots on goal in their first 5 minutes. That means they had only 1 shot on goal in the last 15 minutes, and they had a couple of power plays. So the Blues played excellent hockey in that period.
Just got better and better as the period went on. Why didn't the Blues score? Well, as much as anything, it was Patrick Waugh. He'll be representing the Wales Conference in the All-Star game in Chicago this Saturday. He stood up. He had the angles covered. He had a very strong period.
Well, you mentioned a couple of keys. He stood up and challenged the shooters very well. He's won the Vezina Trophy the last couple of years, and he showed why in that first period. Can I mention late in that period, the Blues need to jam the net a bit more, and that's the only way you're going to beat Waugh on a deflection or a rebound, because when you shoot from 30, 40 feet out, chances are you won't score.
There isn't a team nor a coach in the league that really knows how to stop Brett Hull. But in that period, you noticed most of the times when Hull got near the puck, there were 2 Canadians there putting on the squeeze, and the result was, John, Brett did not have a shot in the first period.
You are right, and every time the Hull line was out there, you saw the Scruden line out there, or Carbonneau, along with Mike McPhee. McPhee is the big man who will watch Brett Hull tonight, but you're right, Ken. Every time Hull had the puck in the slot, a Canadian was not far away, and they did a good job in that period on Brett Hull.
Montreal scored the only goal in the period. It came at 5:10. Sylvain Turgeon unassisted, his second of the year, as the Blues outshot the Canadiens 17-6. The period summary brought to you by your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Brocklin GMC. What did the Blues do, Rich, in the second period? The same thing they did in the first period. That's how well they played here in Montreal.
All right, Kenny, John, thank you very much. We'll have a great second period hopefully coming up. Bob Ramsey will be joining you after that. He will have Billikens highlights. They played earlier today. And we will take a look at the job that Bobby Plager has been doing in Peoria. That's in the next break. So for the Bud Sports Break, I'm Rich Gould. See you later tonight.
Welcome back to the Forum in Montreal, where the 2 teams are back on the ice for the second period. The only goal in the opening period at 5:10, Sylvain Turgeon scoring for the Canadiens. This concludes a 4-game road trip for the Blues back home, where they have 5 more games during this month of January. The next 3, this Tuesday night, the 15th, the Washington Capitals will be in. It'll be Nestle Chunky Youth Street Hockey Stick Night. Thursday night, these same Canadians at the arena for Eagle Snacks Neon Hat Night. And a big one on Saturday, January the 26th, after a Friday night game in Detroit. The Blues will be at home against the Red Wings. Call 434-6600 for ticket information. That's dial ticks, and you can charge your tickets when you call 434-6600. Well, the Blues have won 7 times in 47 games here in Montreal. They have 1 win here in their last 6 visits. It's not easy to win here. And the Canadiens, with a goal by Sylvain Turgeon, leading 1-0, are unbeaten in their last 7 at home. 6 victories and a tie, and they've outscored their opponents in the last 7, 28-10. So the Blues, rounding out this 4-game road trip, have run into the hottest team in the National Hockey League here in the Canadiens. Both teams will be at full strength to begin this period. Waugh was terrific in the first period. The 25-year-old netminder in his 6th season, as calm and cool as they come. At the other end, youthful Curtis Joseph making his first appearance ever here at historic Montreal at the Forum. We're ready to go. Second period. Here's John Kelly.
Thank you, Ken. Wilson, Gino Cavallini, and Brett Hull begin things against Carbonneau, McPhee, and Courtnall. Off the draw, the Canadiens control. J.J. Daigneault at his own line, a former first-rounder of Vancouver. Now for Desjardins. Up the boards, it slides to center, picked up by Gino Cavallini. He plays it back in. Desjardins sends it back to center. Carbonneau tripped up by Ron Wilson, and he falls on the puck, and we'll get a face-off at center ice early in the second period.
Well, we mentioned the Blues-Montreal connection. Needless to say, over the years, there have been a number of trades between the Ron Caron Blues and the Serge Savard Canadiens, but Bob Barry, the Blues assistant coach, coached here. Wayne Thomas, the assistant coach upstairs tonight, was a longtime Montreal goaltender, among others.
Seems like there's a direct line between Savard and Caron's offices. 1-0 the Canadiens lead as they come to center. Here's Russ Courtnall, Jeff's younger brother, to center. Good pass to McPhee, and a right wing, a shot, and a pad save by Joseph. Now it's centered, no one there. Carbonneau gets it, check though, and Marois back to center. Marois for the Blues, into Gino Cavallini on left wing, a shot, and he missed the goal on the short side. McPhee back to center. Pass broken up by Marois. And here come the Blues. Gino Cavallini across the line. Works in, a blast. That hit Hull and went wide. And Daigneault for Montreal flips it back to center. Now Brown, near side for Featherstone. He'll dump it in. Lowry on right wing stopped it. Plays one behind the goal. Desjardins there for Montreal. To Courtnall on right wing. Russ Courtnall for Desjardins at center ice to Captain Guy Carbonneau. He'll play it down the ice, and the Blues go back. 90 seconds into the second period. Canadiens ahead 1-0. Now Jeff Courtnall, the center, beats him in. Across the line, a shot. That's tipped high off the glass. Lowry behind the goal, can't center it. And Mike Keane for Montreal on right wing. His pass at center. Now for Corson. He'll scoop it in there. Scrudlin after it. Centers one to Keane, but Stevens broke it up, and here come the Blues. Brindamore to center on left wing. Good pass for Oates across the line to Lowry. Fanned on it, gets it back, and he can't pull the trigger. And the Canadiens come to center. Svoboda for Mike Keane in on right wing. Back to Svoboda. Into Corson. That pass behind him. Puck behind the Blues goal. Keane is there, try to center it, but Brindamore blocked it. And the Blues go on offense. Oates to center ice. Hits the Montreal line on right wing. Centers to Brindamore. And a save by Waugh. And the rebound cleared center. Here's a race for it. But Brown gets back ahead of Mike Keane. Brown behind his net. Had 2 goals last night in Quebec City, including the tying goal while the Blues were shorthanded. Now Lefebvre at center for Montreal. Up to Turgeon, has the only goal. A shot! And a pad save by Joseph as he kicked out the left leg. Now Savard stole it from Brown. To Turgeon, but Brown knocked his stick away. And the puck loose on left wing. Richer kept it in. Fires one to the near corner. Taken by the Blues. Stevens up for Rod Brindamore. Right wing pass to Sutter. Now Savard steals it back in on left wing. Savard, a shot. Joseph, a save. Rebound. And Turgeon can't get to it. And here come the Blues. Sutter to center. Long shot wide. Brindamore fanned on a pass off the backboards, and the puck cleared to center ice. Quick up and down action here in Montreal. The Canadiens lead 1-0. Now Lefebvre, a left wing pass for Turgeon. That's center to Richer. Steps across the Blues line. Bumped by Snaps, and Tom Tilley gets the loose puck. Tilley, a right wing pass to Sutter. At center ice to Basson with Momesso. Basson in on right wing. Now Momesso goes to the net. Puck behind the Montreal goal. Momesso on it. He's tied up by Lefebvre. Now Basson gets it. Behind the goal. Has Hull in front. Basson has time in front. Momesso was there, but he was in too close. And the Canadiens break it up. Castles to center ice for Montreal. In on right wing to Corson. Corson tried to center. Broken up by Brett Hull. And here he comes 3-on-2 to center. To Momesso across the line to Hull. A shot. And Waugh saved there with a stick on a rocket from Hull. And here come the Canadiens. Charsky to center ice. He comes in on right wing. Centers one, and Corson tipped it just wide. And the puck loose on the far side. Up and down action. Montreal ahead 1-0. We've played 4.5 minutes of the second period. Puck behind the Blues goal. Ronning digs it free. Scoops it high, knocked down by Charsky, but now Ronning blocked it, and the Blues break away. Ronning across the line. Drop past the Hull into Featherstone, a shot, and he just missed the far side. Oh, a great setup there. And Montreal clears it away. Here's Marois back near his own line for the Blues. Up to Momesso on left wing. He'll play it in. The Blues in the midst of a line change here. There's Desjardins for Montreal. Feeds Keane at center ice. Keane to Scrudlin across the line for McPhee. Back to Keane, broken up, and Courtnall back the other way. With Oates, Courtnall. 2 Oates across the line, and it's just offside at the Montreal line. Great action early second period here in Montreal. The Canadiens ahead 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The opening 5 minutes and 10 seconds of this second period here in Montreal tonight. Maybe as good a end-to-end hockey as I've seen all season long. Boy, that's as exciting as it can get. Good skating, good ice surface, good atmosphere, and good chances for both teams. Very good, crisp passing. And the Blues are trailing the Canadiens 1-0 so far, but it's been an outstanding game.
Now Scrudlin on the face-off against Oates. Scrudlin gets it to Castles. In on right wing to Mike Keane. Has some room. A shot! And he just missed the far side of McLean for the Blues. At center, 2 Oates, 1 man back. Drop pass to Courtnall. A shot! And a stick save by Waugh. And Swoboda behind his own goal. Hooked down there by McLean. And now Swoboda lost his helmet. McLean gets it behind the goal to Jeff Courtnall. Back for McLean. Now to Oates behind the goal. To McLean. Looks to center it. McLean for Oates behind the net. In front to Courtnall. He can't get the pass. And Montreal, Odeline at center for Keane. Now for Scrudlin across the line. Broken up by Brown. And back come the Blues 3-on-2. Courtnall in on right wing. Courtnall in front for Oates. That pass behind Oates. And Keane broke it up. At center ice to Andrew Castles. Into the Blue zone. A shot high off the glass. In behind the goal. Scrudlin is there. Left it in the corner, but now Sutter gets it for St. Louis. And the Blues, who trail 1-0, come back to center. Brindamore on left wing. Long shot to the corner. Puck goes behind the goal. Sutter after it. Left it for Brindamore. Rod Brindamore looks to center it. Bassett in there as well. He gets the puck for Brindamore. He missed it behind the goal, and Turgeon for Montreal. Pass up the boards to Richer, kept in by Snept with a good play. Now to Sutter in the near corner. Here's Rich Sutter for Rod Brindamore. Looks to center it. Sutter after it for Brindamore. Back to Sutter. Blues controlling here. Sutter a shot, blocked, and then Savard took him out. And Snyder back to center for Montreal. That shot blocked by Tilley. He feeds Gino Cavallini. Can't get across the line. And Sylvain Turgeon for Montreal, the former Whaler, has the only goal this evening. Can't work in. Savard backhands it in on net. And Joseph sets it up back there for Tom Tilley. 12:45 left in the second period. Here come the Blues to center. Gino Cavallini in on right wing. Works in behind the Montreal goal. Now knocked down by Daigneault. Blues try and center it, but Daigneault blocked it. Now right point, Marois kept it in. A shot. Hull a tip and a save. Rebound, and Gino Cavallini robbed by Waugh on the rebound. And the puck And now play called, and an elbowing call, I think, on St. Louis. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I can't believe all the money I saved, thanks to you and you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you really saved on all these values.
Campbell's Home Cookin' Soup, vegetable or tomato, the Shop and Save price, 87 cents. Now available at Shop and Save. Ultra Tide from Procter & Gamble, featuring a revolutionary package design. And Banquet Extra Helping Dinners, assorted varieties, $1.95 each.
The more you shop, the more you save. You've got it all at Shop and Save.
7:37, the time of the 2-minute elbowing penalty to the Blues. Glenn Featherstone, who was at the left point in the Montreal end along the boards, went up to the Canadiens player and I don't believe really hit him very hard. Both players getting their sticks and elbows up, and Featherstone got his elbow up pretty high, and he'll take a penalty, and Montreal will go on the power play. They are 0 for 2 so far tonight.
Castles between Chorsky and Corson, with Swoboda and Desjardins on the points. Montreal ahead 1-0 on a power play. There's Chorsky in on right wing to the corner. Brown steals it, clears it around the boards, kept in by Swoboda. Right point for Desjardins. Pass into the corner for Tom Chorsky. He left it there for Castles. Andrew Castles back near the right point now. Wilson on him to Desjardins, a shot and a stick save by Joseph. Now Chorsky far corner, into the slot, a shot, that's blocked. Wilson can't clear it. The puck up in the air, knocked down by Montreal and kept in there. Corson behind the goal. Far corner, Lowry after it, and Dave Lowry works it near the point, and he kicks the puck to center ice. 1:10 left in the Montreal power play. Back is Desjardins across the line. In the slot, Stevens blocked it. Now Castles gets it. His shot blocked, he waited too long. And the puck cleared to the far side. Chorsky back for Swoboda. To Desjardins, to Chorsky, a shot! Hit the side of the Blues goal, and Jeff Brown rifles it down the ice, and it goes over the glass. And there will be a face-off to the right of Joseph. Boy, Castles had about 30 seconds in the slot there, Ken, and did not shoot the puck.
He had so much time, he absolutely didn't know what to do. Everyone had somebody covered, and all of a sudden, number 15 was wide open in the slot. Castles just teed it up and really didn't have the puck in very good position. Kind of looked around more than anything, and Brown kind of backed into it and was able to block it with his skate. Still 50 seconds to go in this Montreal power play. Now they bring on the big guns. 2-time 40-goal scorer Turgeon, 3-time 40-goal scorer Savard, and Richer, a 2-time 50-goal scorer up front.
Well, Pat Burns said he would use a lot of different power play combinations. He had his checking line out there earlier, and now the big gunners on the ice. Savard on the draw against Bassin. 11:13 to go, second period. Montreal leading 1-0 on a power play for another 50 seconds. Face-off between Bassin and Savard. Savard gets it. Back for Schneider. Left point to Richer, to Schneider. A shot, save, rebound right there in front. Cleared by Steps. Not out. Daniel right point, a drive, and Steps blocked that. Then he was knocked down, and Sutter sends it down the ice. Now half a minute left in the power play, but the Canadiens will get a penalty here. Interference to call as Mark Fawcett sends a Canadian off. Canadiens ahead 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Stéphane Richer gets on in the power play for the Canadiens and picks up an interference penalty here at 9:05 with 32 seconds to go in Glenn Featherstone's penalty. So for a time, Pat Burns' team and Brian Sutter's Blues are going to both be one man short. The crowd here at the Forum, 16,592, very unhappy with that call.
Each team a man short for 30 seconds. Now Courtnall the center ice for Montreal. He's got great speed across the line to Carbonneau. Back to Courtnall, broken up. Now the puck loose in front, but Brown grabbed it. And the Blues take over. 4-on-4 here. The Blues trailing 1-0. Jeff Brown to center ice. For Oates across the Montreal line. Left point for Stevens. Works in. A shot. Hit a body in front and went to the corner. And now Featherstone back on the Blues in a power play. But Carbonneau Up to Courtnall. Ross Courtnall, the center ice for Montreal. He gave it to Jeff Brown. Blues on their second power play, down by a goal. Stevens at center. 2 Oates into the Canadiens' end. Oates on left wing. Gets the puck behind the goal. Roy clears one to the far corner. Daigneault there. And he flips it back to center and now down the ice over Stevens' stick. Exactly a minute left in the Blues power play. Here's Stevens back to center ice. Up to Ronnie on left wing across the line. Checked in the corner by Scrudlin. Now Stevens gets it. A rocket, a save by Roy. Oates far corner to Hall. A shot. He scores! Brett Hall, a power play goal. Number 45. And it's 1-1. There's that shot again, folks.
He's in that magic spot in the slot. And Patrick Roy is beaten for the first time tonight. That is the second outstanding scoring chance Hall has had in this period. Adam Oates had a chance to take a shot, said, no, I'll get it to Hall. In football terminology, Hall and Oates found the seam in the midst of that box set up by the 4 defenders in front of Roy. And the Blues have now tied it 1-1 in a game in which they have outshot Montreal 23-12.
And the fans are applauding that goal as they announced it on the PA.
Well, no question about it. To say that the hockey fans are sophisticated here would probably insult them. That's how sophisticated they are.
Number 45 for Hall from Oates and Stevens at 10:20. And that is also power play goal number 15 for Hall. He leads the league in that department. It's 1-1. Teams back at full strength off the draw. Swoboda for Montreal comes to center. 3 Blues are back. He works in on right wing. Gets it behind the goal. Keane spun around by Miroir. And the Blues take over. Bassin up on left wing over Brindamore's stick. Now a loose puck. Fired back to the Blues line. Miroir there. Pass ahead. Swoboda at his own line. He was checked. And Shane Corson grabs it for Montreal. He had 31 goals last year. Second on the club. He was checked. Brindamore gets it ahead for Paul McLean. Hits the Montreal line, trying to work in there, but he was stopped by Dufresne. Lead pass to Corson. Into the blue zone. In the slot for Keane, a shot, and Brown blocked that. And Oates takes over. Center ice to McLean. Looks for some help. Carries across the line. Into the corner for Oates. Oates behind the goal in front of the net. It's loose there, but Brindamore knocked down. And the Blues never got a shot. Richer trying to clear it away. For Desjardins. He slides it down the ice. 8:12 left in the second period. It's 1-1 here in Montreal. Stevens in the near corner. Now it's center ice for McLean. Paul McLean, a pass for Momesso across the line. In on left wing, a shot, save, rebound. Momesso can't get it. Now Hull comes in. He can't pull the trigger. Brown on the right point. Fires one wide, and Daigneault there. And he works it ahead to Castles at center ice to Chorsky. In across the line to Richer. A shot, save, Joseph. Rebound, he stopped that as well. And back come the Blues. Here's Hull to center. In on right wing. Hull goes wide, and he can't get a shot away as Daigneault played him well. And the Canadiens come back. This game has a torrid pace to it as the Blues flip it right back in. It's 1-1. And both teams make changes on the go. Chorsky at his own line. Slides it down the ice. And Joseph sets it up for Featherstone. Left wing feed to Jeff Courtnall. At center ice, Courtnall beats a man. Right wing to Lowry across the line. A shot, and it's tipped high by Swoboda over the glass behind the net. Hull's 45th has tied things here at the Forum. It's 1-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Hull has scored from Oates and Stevens, a power play goal at 10:20 to tie it. Moments ago, Montreal moved in. Great save with a right pad, twice back-to-back for Curtis Joseph, and he had to make 3 saves in that sequence. He has been very sharp.
It's 1-1, 7 minutes left in the period. Canadiens clear it down the ice, and as Featherstone goes back, icing called once again on Montreal.
Boy, what a game this has been. We have seen some terrific hockey. Let's pause here 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Head of the class, weekdays at 5:30 on St. Louis 11.
Ken Wilson with John Kelly at the Forum in Montreal. The Blues won, the Canadiens won. We've talked about how difficult it's been for the Blues to win here over the years. In fact, just looking at the last 10 seasons, the Blues have played 16 games here, and they have only 2 wins. 2 wins, 11 losses, and 3 ties. But for sure, the last few seasons, the Blues have played some of their best hockey in this building and have played some very exciting games, and tonight just continues in that pattern.
And they haven't gotten the lucky bounces. Last year, they lost a couple of games in here, lost 1. Off the draw here in front, Hall, a shot! And Waugh made a good save there. Oh, good chance for Brett Hull. Now Gino Cavallini knocked down in the slot. And Montreal back to center. Carbonneau ahead. Hits the St. Louis line to Russ Courtnall. Knocked away from him by Wilson. In a 1-1 game, Courtnall clears it into the Blues end. Joseph catches it. Left it in the corner for Marois. Up on left wing to Gino Cavallini at center ice to Marois. He'll play it in. Waugh missed it behind the goal. Now Daigneault far corner, bumped by Wilson. Ron Wilson works it free. In behind the goal. Hull is after it. Hull near corner for Gino Cavallini. He was checked, and Carbonneau for Montreal back to center ice. Carbonneau lost it at the blue line in the Blues. Hull sends it down the ice. It's going wide of the goal. And icing called here on the Blues. It's 1-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
You may be wondering about former Blues player Todd Ewen, who's with the Canadiens. He is out injured. He had an injury, and then in a fight, a linesman fell on his leg, hurt his knee, some ligament damage. But Pat Burns says that Todd is expected back sometime this week. And as the Blues were having a light skate around noon today, those who were here all took the time to visit with Todd Ewen after he skated with the Canadiens. And needless to say, Todd with a lot of ties back in St. Louis.
And Montreal in St. Louis Thursday, so possibly we'll get a chance to see Todd Ewen in action. 5:57 left in the second period. 1-1 the score. Turgeon has scored for Montreal. Hull for the Blues. Face off to the right of Joseph. Richer on the draw against Bassett. As Stevens and Savard jostle in front. Savard, Richer, and Turgeon up front. Savard has been kicked out of the face-off, so that's why Turgeon is taking the draw. Bassin and Richer ready for the face-off. Bassin wins it. Back for Tom Tilley. He was checked in front. A shot by Richer, and Joseph made a stick save there as he had to be alert. And Stevens feeds it up to Brindamore on left wing. He was checked. Puck played back in there. Joseph grabs it with his glove. And he very wisely holds on with Savard looking for a rebound. It's 1-1 in Montreal. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
How strong is the Norris Division? The Canadiens have played 6 games against Norris Division teams and have only 1 victory. And that was against Detroit. Here they've lost 4, tied 1 against Norris Division teams. They are 500 or better against the other 3 NHL divisions.
And the Blues are 5-1-1 against the Adams Division. Blues and Canadiens tied 1-1. 5.5 minutes left in the second period. The Blues to center. Bassin clears it in near corner. Brindamore after it. Gets to it. Left it back there. Puck cleared around the boards. And Richer for Montreal. Pass ahead to Turgeon. At center for Swoboda. Back to Turgeon in on right wing. Missed the check. Richer grabs it. Stéphane Richer back on the right point. A shot by Odeline on goal. And a pad save by Joseph. Now Savard on right wing for Montreal. Savard in the slot. Good pass for Swoboda. A shot. That's blocked. Loose puck again. Here's Swoboda on the left point into the corner for Richer. Richer back to Swoboda. He'll clear one to the corner. Stevens blocked it. Shovels it ahead, but Richer knocked it down. Blues trying to get the puck out of their own end here. Slides free to Savard behind the net. Denis Savard wrap around. Save Joseph. Rebound, and he stopped. Turgeon on the rebound. And a loose puck cleared to center ice by Sutter. What action around that Blues goal. Now Odeline in his own line. Pass ahead for Skrudland, broken up. And Scott Stevens clears it away. Swoboda at his own line to Odeline. Now for Swoboda, he comes to center. Into Keane on right wing. Keane to the corner in front. Oh, and Scribblen missed a tip in. And McLean at center ice for Oates. Here's Oates into Courtnall on left wing. A shot! And that was wide on the short side. Marois right point. He can't hold it in, but he gets the puck. And he very wisely puts it right back in the Montreal zone. Less than 4 minutes to play in the second period. It's 1-1. Back to center. For Montreal is Lefebvre. He'll flip it in. Near corner. Corson. And Featherstone battle for it. Oates shoots it around the boards. And the puck comes to center. Jeff Courtnall after it. But it's played down the ice, and now wide of the goal. Left it there for Matthew Schneider. Up to Keane. He left it there, but now he gets it back. At center ice to Corson for Keane in on right wing. Drop pass to Corson. Works to the corner, now works in a shot. And a save by Joseph. And Oates pokes it off the boards to center ice. Well, the Canadiens have had the better of the play the last 5 minutes. Jeff Courtnall at center for the Blues. Knocked down by Keane. Nothing called, and here comes Castles. In on right wing, a backhander. And a save by Joseph. And he holds on, and then Corson and Lowry push and shove. And the linesmen jump in. Still 1-1, less than 3 minutes to play in the second period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I check for a living, and I've been checking out the deals at your Midwest GMC dealers. This Van Der is the big guy on the GMC van team, and it's packed with room. Rear anti-lock brakes and fuel-saver, fuel-injected engines are standard. Custom interiors, tow packages, acres of conversions, hundreds to choose from. Your Midwest GMC dealers, another reason why GMC vans are #1. Check them out.
Only at Bellman GMC in North County, Bommarito GMC in Ellisville, and Brooklyn GMC in Fairmount City, Illinois.
At the Forum, 1-1 is the score. McDonald's Restaurants of St. Louis and Metro East, that's St. Louis and Metro East, are proud sponsors of the St. Louis Blues. Well, the last 4 or 5 minutes, the Canadiens have really been skating. The Blues have not been moving well, and the Canadiens have taken over the play. The Blues almost looking a little sluggish late in this second period.
And that's rather strange considering the Blues scored that goal to tie the game at 10:20 on the power play. But since then, Montreal's had the better of the play. Now at center ice, loose puck taken by Stevens at his own line for Tilly. Up on right wing for Lowry. To Ronning, in across the Montreal line. Here's Ronning in the slot. Works it on left wing now. A shot. That was blocked by Swoboda. Chorsky is there. Bumped by Memesso. Back to Stevens on the left point. Into the corner now. Lowry knocked down. Swoboda gets it. Clears it ahead. And it's tipped to center by Montreal. Scott Stevens back at his own line. He'll circle behind the net. Now on left wing for Memesso. At center ice to Lowry. 2-on-2 across the line to Ronning on left wing. He stops on the boards into the corner for Memesso. Behind the goal. Memesso checked by Castles. Now Tilly pinches in. Kept it in there. Sends it in front. No one there. Featherstone left point. That shot well wide. And the puck loose on the far side. Desjardins there. Memesso. He's all over Desjardins in the corner. 3 Blues on the puck. Lowry gets it. Lowry, far corner. Blues have good pressure on here. Lowry, a shot. Waugh the save, and he decides to hang on as the Blues had some good chances in that Montreal end.
Give Brian Sutter a lot of credit. What was happening? The Blues were getting sluggish and tired. What's he do? He puts out fresh players. He puts out Ronning, Lowry, and Memesso up front. They haven't seen a lot of action. They've got the livelier legs. They come out, and they have a very good shift in the Montreal zone. That is some excellent coaching. And there's a quick break in the action here, and, well, it ought to be a great time to break for that great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because everything else is just a light. Down to 1:41 to go. Here in the second period, Montreal scored. Turgeon at 5:10 of the first period. The Blues tying it. Hall is 45th in a power play at 10:20 here in the second period. The Blues overall have outshot the Canadiens tonight 24-20, and Hall is back on the ice again. In the first period, Hall was extremely well covered. He did not have a shot on goal, but he had one real good scoring chance prior to scoring his 45th goal.
Hull out there with Wilson and Gino Cavallini. Carbonneau on the draw against Wilson. Carbonneau gets it. Now for Daigneault up on right wing to Russ Courtnall at center. Pass blocked. And Stevens for the Blues. At center. Pass for Hull tipped away. Now Gino Cavallini bats it down the ice. Here's Desjardins in his own zone. Ron Wilson stole it. Centers one. Hull there. He missed the tip in. The pass was too high. And McPhee feeds Carbonneau. Comes to center into Russ Courtnall. But Ron Wilson got back and made a good play. Feeds Hull. He's got a breakaway. And they call it back offside. Oh my, that was close. But they rule Hull was offside.
And Brett smiles. Brett smiles. And that may reflect his personality as well as anything. The pass comes to center ice. And they say that Hull preceded the puck over the checkered red line. Brett, certainly with that congenial smile, said no. And our replay said exactly the same thing. And a breakaway taken away from the Blues, Brett Hull.
Well, I said earlier, the Blues have not gotten many breaks in this building. Last year, they tied 3-3 here, lost the game in overtime 6-5. In that 3-3 game, they had a 3-1 lead, but the Canadiens tied the game with 2 goals, which both bounced off the skate of Blues defenseman Mike Lawler. Now it's 1-1 as the Blues clear to center. Exactly a minute left in the second period. Here's Odeline at his own line for Montreal. Up for Scrudlin. Clears it in on right wing. Brown back in the near corner. Up for Gino Cavallini on left wing. Gino gets the puck to center. Knocked down by Odeline. For Keane, knocked away, and Ron Wilson for the Blues. In for Gino Cavallini on left wing. Too far. Puck loose on the near side. Poked to center by Montreal, but Brown got back and beat Keane to the puck. Now for Scott Stevens. Half a minute left in the period. Back to Jeff Brown. Up for Stevens. Stevens at his own line. Pass to Sutter over his stick. It goes down the ice. Waugh plays it, no icing. It goes right to Basson in the corner. Now behind the goal for Rich Sutter. Trying to walk in front. He does, and Waugh made a save, and he holds on. That's something the Blues have done well in this period, Ken, is cause a lot of turnovers deep in the Montreal end.
And this line has just been terrific in forechecking. When they've been together, Basson, Gino Cavallini, and Sutter. The last save, another example of Patrick Waugh standing up, filling the goal. Didn't go down, didn't commit, just let Sutter, who looked like he was making a very, very good play and might move in a position to score, make all the moves. Just stood there, and Sutter had nowhere to go, and the puck went right off Waugh's chest. Down to 11 seconds to go in this period. Save on heating costs this winter with energy-saving Emerson ceiling fans from Metro Lighting, your source for high-quality lighting and home products. Patrick Waugh has been a big story in this game for the Canadiens. Brett Hull has turned it on and had some more opportunities in this second period, and his power play goal has tied it for the Blues.
11 seconds left. Carbonneau wins a big draw from Oates behind the goal for Desjardins to Courtnall. Russ Courtnall clears it high to center. And the Blues go back, and this will do it as the siren sounds here in Montreal. And after 2 periods, it's 1-1. Turgeon scored for Montreal in the first at 5:10, and the Blues tied the game on the power play at 10:20 as Brett Hull scored number 45 from Adam Oates and Scott Stevens. It's 1-1 after 2. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I can't believe all the money I saved, thanks to you and you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you really saved on all these values.
Campbell's Home Cooking Soup, vegetable or tomato, the Shop and Save price, 87 cents. Now available at Shop and Save. Ultra Tide from Procter & Gamble, featuring a revolutionary package design. And Banquet Extra Helping Dinners, assorted varieties, $1.95 each.
The more you shop, the more you save. You've got it all at Shop and Save.
What do you think? Here's a better idea.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle.
No wonder nobody ever comes back.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Bud Sports Break. I'm Bob Ramsey. We have Blues highlights coming up for you in a few minutes, and we'll take a look at the Billikens' effort today down at Alabama Birmingham. But first, you know, you've heard the old adage, winners laugh and tell jokes, losers say, deal the cards. Well, in Peoria this winter, our old friend Bob Plager is laughing a winner's laugh. Rich Gould takes a look at the affable coach of the Rivermen.
It's dedication, but what's Bob Plager doing in Peoria?
It's easy to laugh when things are going your way. And affable Bob Plager laughs a lot these days. There's reason to smile when the team you coach wins almost every night. And going into this weekend, Plager's Peoria Rivermen have a record of 30 wins and only 8 losses. That includes 18 consecutive victories, the longest winning streak in the history of professional hockey. Hockey history in Peoria. Not a bad start for first-year coach Bob Plager.
Well, I got some very good hockey players, very skilled hockey players, and, you know, it's nice. The players, a lot of them were very close to making the St. Louis Blues. And what has happened, they've come down here, and they know they're close, and, you know, sometimes you get players that are a little disappointed being sent down, and maybe it takes a while for them to get going. But they've come down here, and they know they're close, and well, they've done everything I've asked them.
Come on, guys. Last shift out here for us, guys. Last shift for each one of you is now. Good shift out here.
Don't think winning makes Plager's job any less worrisome. This 47-year-old, who's synonymous with St. Louis hockey, frets constantly. As the action heats up on the ice, Plager's blood begins to boil. Reflecting on a career influenced by some of the game's greatest names, has instilled a winning drive in this man. Coaches like Scotty Bowman, Al Arbor, Fred Shiro, players like Doug Harvey and brother Barclay Plager. Their influence is undeniable. And if winning is contagious, then Coach Bob Plager certainly has a disease.
Good shift out there, boys. Right to him. Pull him up. Be skating, boys. When we see that defenseman skate there, be the first there. Be hungry. Turn and go, go, go! Come on, boys, let's pick it up now, let's pick it up.
But I pat the guys, I get them going. We'll make mistakes out there, and our guys are going to make mistakes. And I go down and I let them know that I've seen it, that I know they made the mistake, and you know, I forgive them, you know, if they learn from it. But hopefully they won't make the same mistake twice in the game, because then I can get a little louder.
Good to drift in like that when you go in like that. But if you go in, if there's no play, make sure you come back. I gave the puck a shot, but I expect a shot right away.
You know, you like to keep them a little loose. And I have some quotes, or I say a few things, and you know, I break the dressing room up once in a while, and I come back in here. Now I light up a cigarette. But there's nobody here to calm me down. So, you know, I mean, I'm in here sweating it out, and I'm more nervous, and it's take a deep breath and go out there and be relaxed and be funny and get the guys loose.
Plager's pacing and fidgeting multiplied during tight contests. And this game against the Kalamazoo Wings is tight. Tied at 3 in the third period. The tension and concern read like a roadmap on the face of hockey's winningest coach. 24 years with the St. Louis Blues. 14 as a colorful player, a fixture in the front office, a hockey legend. And yet the only thing that matters now is scoring the winning goal.
We have a saying here that's just keep it simple. In fact, the boys call it KISS, because every once in a while they come out, keep it simple, stupid. That's things that I learned that I thought were, you know, they had to keep it very simple for me.
Chase, far side, Mongeau comes in, a goal, shoots and scores! Michel Mongeau with a beautiful move, 4-3 Rivermen.
After the game, Peoria's players bask in the glow of yet another victory. And in his small office, the coach smiles once again. Good luck charms, like this card from daughter Melissa, keep working their magic. Ask Plager if he wants to make a career out of this. And old number 5 quickly hip checks that idea.
It's been good for me, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to coach long.
30 victories, only 8 losses. The longest winning streak in professional hockey history. Bob Plager and his Peoria Rivermen have accomplished a lot in their first year together. Yet the biggest reward for this lifelong member of the Blues family isn't the acclaim, nor the personal recognition. It's the chance to help others. For a man who thrives on hockey and humor, well, that's the biggest kick of all.
The greatest thing for me now, I think, is if I can see a kid improve and one of them goes up and plays for St. Louis and I had something to do with it, you know, it's great because these kids, is their prayers and their dreams are playing in the National Hockey League, and maybe I'll be part of it.
All right, thanks, Rich. You know, from the ice to the front office to behind the bench, Bob Plager has always made us smile. When we come back, Blues and Billiken highlights. That's right after this break.
Times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
All right, we're back on the Bud Sports break after 2-period play. The Blues and Montreal are tied up 1 apiece. We'll have some highlights from the second period for you in just a minute. But first, let's go to basketball. You know, 1 out of 2 on a national TV weekend. That's not too bad considering. Less than 36 hours after beating SIU in front of a national audience, the St. Louis U Billikens had to travel to Birmingham, Alabama to face future league foe UAB. And, well, I can think of better ways to wrap up a weekend. Let's go to UAB Arena for the highlights. We'll show you what happened. That's what happened. That kid is Andy Kennedy. He's a 6'8" senior, transferred a couple of seasons ago from North Carolina State. He hits a three-pointer. In fact, he made an ugly habit of that all day. Another three-pointer. Andy Kennedy had 43 points, a career high, and an Alabama-Birmingham career high. Speaking of career highs, Melvin Robinson right there, 23 points, a career high for him. But UAB beat St. Louis 98-80. And before we go to the forum and second period analysis from Ken Wilson and John Kelly, here's a look at the big play from that action. Check it out as the Blues are forcing the action. Scott Stevens with the shot. Oates to Hully. A little stutter right there, and then he slammed it home. Number 45 for Brett Hull, and that tied the game, one goal apiece. And as we check in with our Gettiker's Best of the Blues report, we see the 5 names we've expected to see from the beginning of the season. Of course, Hully is at the top of the heap, still on his goal-a-game pace. In fact, he's a little bit ahead of it now, thanks to tonight. And how about Adam Oates, huh? Second on the club with 39 points, not counting his assists tonight, yet he's played in only 25 of 44 games. Jeff Courtnall's third. He'll get a hot streak here pretty soon. You can count on that. Jeff Brown seems to have hit his stride, and Scott Stevens is 5th in scoring, but 3rd on the team in assists. Now, let's get you back up to Montreal, where the voices of the Blues, John and Ken, are standing by live with their thoughts on the second period. Fellas?
Bob, one thought is this is about as good a hockey game as you're going to see, and I guess the key, John, is you have 2 very talented, well-coached, successful hockey teams, and both coming into this game were playing very, very well, and what 2 great periods.
Yeah, you're right. The pace of this game has been exceptional, and don't forget, the Blues and Montreal both played last night, and there's no weariness on either side, and we've seen a great hockey team, or a great hockey game by 2 pretty good hockey teams.
The first 10 or 12 minutes of that second period, about as good a hockey as we have seen all year. The only goal in the period, as you just saw, Brett Hull got it, number 45 on the power play from Oates and Stevens at 10:20 to tie it. The period summary brought to you by your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Brocklin GMC. We remember how close the games recently in Montreal for the Blues have been, Bob Ramsey, and we've got the makings for what should be an exceptional third period here at the Forum tonight.
All right, fellas, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you and hope for 20 more good minutes. And don't forget, the entire day in sports and all of our regular features coming up when Rich Gould joins me on Sunday Sports Extra following St. Louis 11 News. Now, for the Bud Sports Break, I'm Bob Ramsey. Enjoy the third period.
After 2 periods here at the Forum in Montreal, it's the Blues 1 And the Canadiens won. Both clubs are back on the ice, and we're nearly set for the third period. We'd like to remind Blues fans that they have a chance to spend a night out with the Blues. The Blue Liners and Goaltenders banquet coming up on February the 7th at the Clarion Hotel. And all the proceeds will benefit amateur hockey. And if you're interested in attending the banquet, call 781-BLUE. That's February 7th, the Blue Liner and Goaltenders banquet. Nearly set to go with the third period. So far, the game's been fairly wide open, Ken, and I think I would like to see the Blues tighten things up a little bit and have the mindset here in the third period of playing for the tie, and if they get the win, it's great. Now, here's Ken with the third period.
Okay, John, and the Canadiens, with both teams at full strength, take the puck, can't get it out of their own end. Gino Cavallini shoots it wide. Now in the Canadian zone, McPhee, an outlet pass, broken up and turned right back in by Gino Cavallini. Desjardins with the puck behind his net. Plays it to Daigneault. He almost loses it. Now Courtnall, who's on with Carbonneau and McPhee, gets out of his own end, but Ron Wilson stops the puck, and Gino Cavallini slams it ahead to the Montreal defense. Desjardins gets it to McPhee in the left wing, in over the line with Carbonneau. A shot off the blocker of Joseph and off the glass to Curtis again, and he snares it in his trapper and holds the puck for a face-off. And here at the 42nd mark of the third period, both teams now will change players.
Well, longtime Blues season ticket holder Mike Dowling made the trip to Montreal tonight. He'd like to say hello to Julie Garrity and baby Bob Connor, along with Trish. Also here tonight, Bill Weinitke and Doug French. They would like to wish happy birthday to Laura Schmitz back in St. Louis. And also would like to say hello and wish a happy birthday to Blues President Jack Quinn, celebrating his birthday today. And I think he's something like, what, 35, 36 in that area today, Ken?
It wasn't that many years ago we celebrated his 30th birthday. And,
that's right.
That couldn't have been but 4 or 5 years ago. Happy birthday to Jack Quinn. He's squeezed a lot of great years in professional sports into a short time. Blues in their own zone, have trouble getting out. Now Rich Sutter back for the puck behind his net. On with Basson. Also with Brindamore. Pass at center ice off Brindamore's skate, and the Canadiens control at their defense. Here's the young Czech Swoboda to Richer. On with Savard and Turgeon. Richer, number 44, over the line. A wrist snapshot deflects off the Blues player's stick and into the crowd behind Curtis Joseph. Only 24 years of age, Stéphane Richer, and he is already in season number 6.
Had 51 goals last year, 25 goals a couple of years ago, and 50 goals the year before that. So he's had some up and down career years here in Montreal, and there's a lot of pressure on a player here in Montreal, but especially a French player here in Montreal. Ken, the pressure is unbelievable. It goes back to the days of the Rocket Richard and Henri Richard and all those other great Montreal players, Jean Beliveau from the past. There's a lot of pressure playing in this city.
From the point and the face-off, Lefebvre's shot that's blocked. Yeah, hockey is different in Montreal than it is everywhere else in the NHL. There's no question about it. It's the only sport in town, really. Oates carries in for the Blues, drops the puck for Courtnall, and Mike Keane intercepts. Keane, who's just a little guy in his third season, gets it in with the help of Corson. And the Blues back for the puck. Now the Canadiens intercept. Here's Shane Corson along the boards, tied up by Stevens. Oates, a long pass for Jeff Courtnall, tipped away. Courtnall ends up with a puck. Now to Lowry, in over the line, and he can't get by the defense. Lowry in the corner, eludes one check. Now a penalty coming up. There'll be a penalty call here, and it'll be a slashing call. Shy of the 2-minute mark in period 3. It's the Blues 1, the Canadiens 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The suspense is over. Bud Light has signed top draft pick Bud Dry to a long-term contract. To celebrate, the team has released a music video.
When the game is over, we'll stand tall. The one life beer that outshines them all. And now that we got this superstar rookie, it's our turn to do the Bud Bowl 3.
Yeah, that's all for now. I'm Chris B. We'll see you at Bud Bowl 3. This year, things won't be the same because everything else is just a game.
Matthew Schneider takes a slashing minor here at 1:52. The Blues 1 for 2 on the power play. So they get a chance here to take the lead in a 1-1 game.
From the draw, the Canadiens win the puck. And J.J. Daigneault shoots at the length of the ice. At Chicago, Jeremy Roenick has scored for the Hawks. They lead Minnesota 1-0. The Blues to center ice. Hall to Ronning over the line. Left wing to Oates. Oates in the corner. Now Oates behind the Montreal net. Plays it back to Stevens at the left point. Jeff Brown is at the right point. It's 1-1. Stevens to the middle. A shot blocked by Carbonneau. Jeff Brown, a shot and a glove save by Patrick Waugh. Boy, he stands up as well as any goalie in this league and is so relaxed, makes it look easy, and he makes a nice save on Brown.
What a save there. He was actually going down, Ken. You mentioned he stands up, but when Brown let the shot go, he started to go to his knees, but he still had the presence of mind to get the glove out there, and he made as good a glove save as you will see as Brown had that shot labeled for the bottom left-hand corner. But Patrick Waugh made a great save. He's a 25-year-old, a native of Quebec City, now in his 6th year, and he is undeniably the best in the business, and he just showed Jeff Brown why.
Blackhawks on a Roenick goal, leading Minnesota 1-0. Well, we've got some great games yet with the Blackhawks, don't we? Before this regular season is up. Oates now ready for the face-off. Blues have the power play. Another 1 minute and 29 seconds. He'll face off with Brian Skrudland here to Patrick Waugh's left. Oates wins the draw to Brown. Left point to Stevens into the circle, and he fakes a shot. Hall's back by the blue line. Stevens a blast right on, and the save, and Ronning can't get the rebound. And the Canadiens can't clear. Blues keep it in. Brown over to Stevens, faking a shot along the far boards to Brett Hull. Ronning's in front. Oates is along the near boards. Hull back to Stevens. Poor pass. Can't get a shot and loses the puck. And Desjardins clears it the length of the ice. There's a minute to go in the Blues man advantage. The Blues on the power play tonight. 1 for 2. Hull tying the game 1-1 in the second period. Brown to center ice, drives the puck in. Ronning in the corner, trying to get it, can't. And the Canadiens clear it out, and Jeff Brown will go back for it. Here's Brown to Oates. He shovels it over to Hull. Rink wide to Ronning. He carries it in. Nice work along the line. Left point to Stevens. Ahead for Hull to Ronning. Into the corner to Adam Oates. Blues setting it up. Back to Stevens. He doesn't get very good passes. He can't get a shot. Then Oates to Brown. Near right corner to Ronning. Oates behind the net. Hull's in the circle. Oates takes the puck behind the goal. Centers for Ronning. He can't get a shot. Behind the goal again to Oates. Out to Brown from Scott Stevens. Now to Ronning. Blues being held to the perimeter here. They can't move in front. 4 seconds to go in the power play. Ronning is in front, and the Hull shot goes wide. Canadiens back at full strength. The puck behind the Montreal net, and the Canadiens play it. Skrudland out for Russ Courtnall, too far. Now loose puck at center ice. Matt Schneider gets it, can't get it in as he hits the linesman. Ronning gets the puck. He'll shoot it from his own blue line right to Waugh, who makes a save. Both teams are changing players. Long pass to Savard, to Turgeon, stopped below us at the St. Louis line. Marois with it in his own end to Featherstone. He comes to center ice. Long pass for Sutter. He tips it in. Waugh out of the crease. Banks the puck up the boards to Turgeon. He cuts to the middle. A pass for Savard. Poke checked at center ice, and Richer takes the loose puck for the Canadiens. 4:30 gone. No scoring in the third period. It's 1-1 as the Canadiens dump the puck in. Featherstone in a crowd behind his net to Marois. Does a nice job. Mario Marois to center ice. And the puck hooked away by Richer to Savard. 3 Blues back. Savard, a shot right on, and Joseph makes the save and holds the puck to stop the action. It's the Blues 1 and the Canadiens 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Denny Savard had a pretty good chance as the Blues got puck to center there, but did not get it in deep. As they lost the puck, Richer made a good play. He checked Marois, and Savard came back in on left wing and had a pretty good chance, but Joseph made a save. Savard has had over 100 points 5 times in his career, and he is really a natural hockey player. The first time he ever put on skates at 7 years old, he played in a game, Ken, and scored 11 goals the first time he ever skated.
He is something. Now 25th on the NHL's all-time point list. Denny Savard out on the ice right now. He has the puck in the corner, trying to get away from Ron Wilson and taken out behind the St. Louis net. Stevens ahead to Jeff Courtnall with Lowry and Ron Wilson, and Richer back to steal the puck. The Canadiens have it in their own end. Swoboda gets it ahead to Savard. He's very, very well covered by Ron Wilson. Here's a Lowry pass to Jeff Courtnall, trying to get in front. He does a shot right on the rebound. Ron Wilson stopped by Waugh. Here's Lowry centering. Oh, and it hops over the stick of Jeff Courtnall. Richer headmans to Sylvain Turgeon, the right wing. Stevens, a good job taking him to the boards. Tom Tilley back for the puck. Gets it ahead for Jeff Courtnall. Now to Lowry at center ice. Back for Courtnall on the right wing. Into the Montreal end. He puts on the brakes in the corner. Tries to center the puck, and it slips away. Here's Turgeon for the Canadiens. To Richer at the red line. Long shot, and that goes wide. Lowry back for the puck. Castles is all over him. Castles takes him to the boards. Play near the Blues net. Here's Richer coming out of the corner, trying to get a shot. Can't. Pulls up along the boards. Tries to make a move. Does. Oh, sees something, and a shot hits Stevens. Stephane Richer puts on a show. Then Lowry takes Castles down, and there'll be a penalty. A penalty will be called here, I believe, against Dave Lowry. And with 13:51 to go in the third period at the Forum in Montreal, the Blues and the Canadiens are tied at 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Lowry picks up a holding minor at 6:09 in a 1-1 game. The Canadiens get their 4th power play. They have not scored on the power play tonight. Lowry held up Castles, who took a bit of a dive there. And now Montreal sends out a power play unit here.
And it's Castles facing off against Basson. Castles wins the draw to Desjardins. Right point to Daigneault at the left point. Into the slot. The puck tipped away. And the Blues player, Jeff Brown, has it caught up in his equipment, or as Danny Gallivan said for so many years so eloquently here at the Forum, caught in his paraphernalia, and they whistle the play dead. And that's about as good a way to describe what just happened as there is, and the great retired Danny Gallivan coined that one.
Good play there by Jeff Brown. Boy, has he ever played well in the last couple of weeks. Picked up his offensive part of his game, has 16 points in his last 11 games. But more importantly, he's continued his fun defensive play, teamed on defense with Scott Stevens.
Power play, Montreal. 1-1 is the score in the third period. Keane with Castles and Corson, and the Blues break out of their own end from the faceoff. Basson at center ice, stopped by Eric Desjardins, the 21-year-old. He shoots it back in. Joseph vacates the crease, leaves the puck. But Keane is all over Stevens. That allows Corson to get it. To the left point to Daigneault. Back for Corson. Now to Keane. Keane on the left wing side. Trying to return it to Daigneault, and the puck is stolen by Bassett. With Sutter, Brown, and Stevens. A pass for Brown. He moves in over the line, but Rich Sutter precedes the puck. And the Blues are offside. And that'll allow both coaches to send out some fresh players with 1:23 to go in Dave Lowry's penalty.
The attendance tonight here in Montreal, 16,592, but sellouts never a problem here in this city. The fans always very faithful, but they can be fickle at times, as former Montreal winger Steve Shutt once said of this crowd here in Montreal. They're behind you here in Montreal, win or tie. And they won 23 Stanley Cups, so they know what winning's all about.
They could be just a bit spoiled, and they are. They have great hockey here, needless to say, and as much hockey to watch around this city as you'll find anywhere in the world. Here comes Richer over the line around one man, sidesteps Featherstone, but the puck goes behind the Blues net. The Blues are shorthanded. It's 1-1 in the third period, and the Blues clear at the length of the ice. Wilson and Oates up front. Featherstone and Brown are the defensemen in front of Joseph, killing the penalty. Here come the Canadiens. Here's Savard at center ice over the line. He drops it at the left point, but no one there, and Richer brings the puck to the neutral zone and gives it to Peter Svoboda. Svoboda with Savard. Turgeon. Desjardins and Richer moving in. Turgeon the right wing. Featherstone falls down, trips Turgeon. Brown can't clear it. Richer keeps it in, sends it behind the net. Turgeon to the corner to Savard, along the near side to Richer, back to Swoboda, who returns the puck to Richer. And Ron Wilson steals it, can't get it out. Desjardins keeps it in. To the far side to Turgeon. Trying to shovel it ahead, gets it to Desjardins out at the blue line. Left point to Swoboda. In the corner, Savard. He shoots. The save by Joseph, and Oates clears the puck out. With 10 seconds left in Montreal's power play. And 12 minutes to go in the third period. Here are the Canadiens in the neutral zone. Richer poke checked at the line by Rich Sutter. Now Lowry steps back on the ice as Basson carries into the Canadiens' end, into the corner. Now puts on the brakes with Swoboda near him. Basson looking for someone at the point. No one there. The puck loose along the boards. Hull steps in. Unable to center. Hull tries to center again and can't. Hull bumped around, and the Canadiens clear the puck back to the blue zone with 11:30 to go in the third period. Up it comes to Basson. Basson into the Montreal end, and Russ Courtnall back to steal the puck. Then he has trouble with it. Right point, Marois shot, knocked down in front. Hull takes a swing at the puck and doesn't connect. And Mike McPhee clears it out, only to have Scott Stevens shoot the puck right back in. Momesso gets to it. In front for Hull. He can't get a shot, then it's poked away from him again. To the left point, Stevens, a shot. Oh, that goes just wide. And out to the neutral zone it comes. Marois whistles the puck right back in. Now under 11 minutes to go in the third period as the Canadiens work to center ice. They'll have to circle back. Here's Mike McPhee overskating the puck and tries to feed it to himself off the boards and can't. Marois shoots it in. Lefebvre dumps it out, and the puck will come all the way back into the St. Louis zone. The Canadiens are changing. Loose puck kept in by the Canadiens. Carbonneau into the corner, and the Blues will take over. Here's Ronnie. Up the near boards for McLean. He's seen limited duty. This is McLean with Ronnie and Momesso. It's dumped in. Momesso after it takes a shot. It goes weakly to Waugh. Then it's centered. Neither McLean nor Ronnie can get to it, but Momesso a drive. And it's deflected wide off the glass right to Waugh. And he'll hold the puck for a face-off. Some fresh legs on that shift for the Blues. It's 1-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
After play became a bit sluggish late in the second period, we've seen a good pace to this third period. Still 1-1, 10:16 to go in regulation time. The Blues have outshot the Canadiens 6-3 so far in the third period, and 30-24 for the night.
Oates facing off in the Canadiens' end with Skrudlin, wins the draw, but all Brown can do is keep the puck in. Here's Montreal. Corson ahead to Keane. The puck tipped away off the glass below us, and it was hit by a high stick of a Blues player, and the play is whistled dead.
Rather busy night in the NHL. Edmonton and Philadelphia tied 2-2 in the third. The Rangers lead Hartford 4-3 in the third. Islanders in Quebec ahead 1-0. That's in the second period. A few other games. Winnipeg leading at home over Calgary 2-0 in the second. And the Hawks lead the North Stars 2-1. That is in the first period at the stadium in Chicago. The Hawks lead the Blues by 8 points, but Chicago has played 3 more games.
Blues are third overall in the NHL behind the Blackhawks and the Rangers. And the Canadiens, Swoboda at center ice. Off the draw has the puck. Over to Odeline. His feet at center ice broken up. Jeff Brown gets it ahead to Oates. Oh, what a nice move around Keane. Almost fools himself and finally shoots it in. Swoboda with it. Running out of room. He'll turn behind his net. He's on defense with Odeline. Gets it up in the left wing. Corson gives it back to Swoboda. Keane also up front with Skrudlin. Now returning it to Corson, and the Canadiens are offside at the St. Louis blue line with 9:39 to go here in the third period, and it is 1-1. This Montreal team, not only a good team, notably strong at home. They are unbeaten in their last 7 at home, going 6-0-1. They are tough here.
Remember, drinking responsibly makes good sense. Please know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Former policeman Pat Burns knows when to say when. He is a tough coach behind that bench in his 3rd year. And he used to be an undercover detective, so he certainly knows the ways of the world.
How tough is he? Ask Brian Hayward and Gerald Diddick and other players that he's stood up to. They're gone. Canadiens get it out of their own end. Blues shoot it back. Now Daigneault around Hall at the checkered red line. Dumps it to the line. Tilly breaks it up. Ron Wilson will backhand the puck in for St. Louis. Both teams are at full strength. It's 1-1. 9:12 to go in the third period. It has been a terrific game tonight here in Montreal. Turgeon scored in the first period for the Canadiens. Hall a power play goal in the second for the Blues. And now the Canadiens almost spring Courtnall loose, but are unable to. Scott Stevens, a pass for Hull off the blade of his stick. Back into the Montreal zone. J.J. Daigneault goes behind his net. Up for Russ Courtnall, the right wing. He can't move it out. Kept in along the boards and kicked to the corner by Ron Wilson. Courtnall for the Canadiens, over to Daigneault. He'll move up the left side and cut to the middle. Then a left wing pass is behind McPhee, and that puts him offside. at the St. Louis blue line. Mike McPhee, a 30-year-old. When you get to 30 nowadays in the National Hockey League, you are an old-timer. A lot of teams have very few players 30 years of age and older.
But he is the prototypical two-way winger that is coveted by most National Hockey League teams. He is tough. He is big, 6'1", 203. Great defensively. And in the last 5 years, he scored 23 goals, 19, 23, 18, and 19. So he's a 20-goal man and good at both ends.
The Blues shoot the puck in. And Lefebvre, in his second season, has it. He wears number 3. Ahead at center ice for Castles. Now to Corson. Into the corner. Here's Chorsky. He centers. Now an attempt by Corson to get a shot. Shot wide by Joseph into the corner. And the Blues come to center ice, led by Cliff Ronning. Ronning to the Montreal line as he's knocked down. Shoots it in, but it's offside, and there's a break in the action, and it's 1-1. The Blues in Montreal. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
I check for a living, and I've been checking out the deals at your Midwest GMC dealers. These Sierras are a real score with the most powerful fuel-saver, fuel-injected engines in their class. With standard rear anti-lock brakes, wide sides, club coupes, 4x4s, they've got hundreds of them. Your Midwest GMC dealers. Another reason why GMC trucks are #1. Check them out.
Only at Bellman GMC in North County, Bommarito GMC in Ellisville, and Brooklyn GMC in Fairmount City, Illinois.
It's 1-1 here in Montreal, 8:06 to go third period. The third periods have been the Blues' best, at least lately. In their last 14 third periods, the Blues have outscored the opposition 19-7, and the third periods have not been good for Montreal. It's the only period in which they've been outscored this year.
And the Blues out shooting the Canadiens 6-3 in this scoreless third period. Matthew Schneider shoots the puck in. Joseph unable to stop it. Chorsky overskates it. Castles falls down, but then Oates loses it. Castles centers, and it's deflected to Joseph, who knocks it away. Marois to McLean. The Blues hemmed in a bit in their own end. They haven't seen much of this tonight. The Blues have been moving out of their own end freely. Now the puck along the boards comes back to the point. Lefebvre shot wide, and Momesso will dig it out. They ought to just clear it out and be done with it. No time to get fancy. He hands it to Castles. A shot just wide. I say, Sergio, no time to get fancy. Just clear it out. Now the Blues clear to center ice. It's an easy game to play and even easier to coach from where we are. Blues move in. Oates over the line in front of Momesso. Backhand shot. Loose puck. McLean taps it in. Way to go, Sergio. Oates and Momesso assist. McLean just taps a loose puck sitting in the crease over the goal line. Oh, what joy and happiness on the Blues bench, and a long face from Canadiens coach Pat Burns, as Paul McLean gives the Blues a 2-1 lead.
Great play by Oates, a 3-on-2, fed it into Momesso, and his shot was blocked by Waugh, but the puck trickled through, and it was right on the edge of the goal line, and McLean came in and knocked it in. That's his 5th goal of the year, and that gives the Blues a 2-1 lead, and it's good to see big Paul McLean score. He's had tough luck this year, has not played nearly as much as he would have liked, but he gets as big a goal he's scored in a long time, and the Blues lead 2-1.
Number 5 for McLean. Just over 7 minutes to go in the third period. Puck in the Canadiens' end. Blues charge in after it. And then it's cleared to the point, but not out by Carbonneau. Kept in by Stevens. Daigneault now taps it to Desjardins behind the net. McPhee is up front. He takes the pass on with Carbonneau and Russ Courtnall. McPhee will flip the puck in and go after it. But Jeff Brown is back to beat him to it. Brown up for Hull at his own line. Hull to the red line with Wilson and Gino Cavallini. Hull over the line, keeps the puck. Great stick handling. Hull to the slot. Hull trying to get a shot and can't as he's wrestled down. And the Canadiens clear to center ice with 6.5 to go. Defense, defense, defense. Now the call for the Blues. Carbonneau takes the puck offside over the St. Louis line, and this partisan crowd doesn't like that call, as the Canadiens are offside, and it is 2-1 Blues with 6:24 to go.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Tomorrow night at 7 on St. Louis 11, a prominent World War II scientist gathers his family for a desperate escape from the Nazis. Anthony Quinn and James Mason star in The Passage. Blues lead 2-1. That goal, McLean, from Meso and Oates at 12:48. That's Paul's first goal since December 22nd against the Chicago Blackhawks, and what an opportune time to break out of a scoring slump.
Here's a neutral faceoff. Bassin against Savard. The Blues have Bassin on with Brind'Amour and Sutter. Featherstone and Marois. Featherstone shoots it in, and a glove save by Waugh. Swoboda, as the Canadians think offense, gets it to Turgeon. Now to Savard, and the Blues clog it up in the middle, break it up, and shoot the puck in. That's what the Blues do so well. They clog up the middle. Don't let the other team get going. Here's a fella tough to stop. Savard to the red line. Savard to the Blues line. Savard to the left wing side. Cuts back towards the slot out near the blue line. Fakes a shot, lets one go, and it's partially blocked, going wide. Rich Sutter breaks out. Sutter up the near wing is tripped. The puck comes to Brind'Amour. He moves in against Swoboda, trying to go to the net. Brind'Amour forced behind the goal. One hands it in front. No one there for the Blues. Savard back. Blues lead it 2-1 to the red line. Savard backs in over the blue line. Sets up at the left point. Into the slot for Richer. Now to Turgeon. His shot is blocked. And Scott Stevens clears it out. Brought back in with a glove hand by Matthew Schneider. Offside Montreal. And we are down to 5:29 to go in the third period. And the Blues leading the Canadiens 2-1. The Blues have won only 7 times in their history here, over 47 games. They've won only twice here in 16 games over the last 10 seasons.
It hasn't been very profitable for the Blues in this building, but the Blues have really bounced back tonight with a great effort, a tremendous team effort. They did not play well in Quebec City last night for the first 2 periods, but Brian Sutter was delighted with the way the team played in the third period and in overtime. He felt the team should have won. And the Blues have had the best of this play tonight, except for about a 5-minute span in the second period. The Blues have been excellent.
The Blues have outshot the Canadiens 9-3 in the third period. Paul McLean's goal has broken the tie. Canadiens, Skrudland to Keane over the line, looking for in front Corson, and he can't get the pass through to him, and the Blues clear it out. The Blues have Oates on with Jeff Courtnall and Lowry. Here's a feed to Skrudland. Backhand shot, glove save up around the crossbar by Curtis Joseph. Holy cow, what a save by Joseph as the Canadiens quickly moved in that time on the right wing.
Well, Brian Skrudland has scored some big goals for Montreal in the last couple of weeks. He had an overtime winner against the Islanders the other night, and he worked in on right wing there. And his backhander was labeled for the top left-hand corner. But Joseph made a very nice glove save, and he held on the year. Skrudland has 14 goals and 16 assists. The Canadiens have 6 players with more than 10 goals this year, so they don't have one big gunner like Brett Hull, but their scoring is very well spread out, including Brian Skrudland here at center ice.
Canadiens lost Brent Gilchrist in the first period. A deflected shot hit him over the eye. A bad cut from the right point. Schneider's shot blocked. Jeff Brown gets the puck to Paul McLean out at center ice to Momesso. He'll shoot it in and go after it. Waugh behind the Canadiens net, backhands it into the far corner, and Mike Keane has it. To Skrudland, behind the back pass to Keane, returning the puck to Skrudland, and Stevens won't let the pass get back to Keane, and the Blues clear the zone. Lefebvre flips the puck back in, and the Canadiens flood the Blues defensive zone. Jeff Brown to Scott Stevens in the corner. He lifts the puck high, not out, kept in at the right point by Corson. Scott Stevens fans trying to clear. The puck along the far boards. 2, 4, 6 players there. Skrudland gets it in the corner. Good pass. Schneider at the point. A shot knocked out in front. The rebound by Skrudland. Stop. Loose puck, and his shot goes over the net. And Adam Oates backhands the puck down the ice. Holy cow, hold on. Both teams change on the fly. Here comes Daigneault, forced back into his own end. He'll have to turn and twist away from Hall, giving the puck to Desjardins. What forechecking here by the Blues with Lowry. Wilson and Hall on the ice. Rink-wide pass to Russ Courtnall. He comes over the line. He'll shoot. That's blocked by Marois. Left point, Daigneault. Shot right on. Joseph the save. And Featherstone gathers in the puck. Up the middle with a pass to Wilson. Ron Wilson carries into the Montreal end on the right wing, looking for Hull in the slot. Tries to pass to him, and the puck deflects in the air to Waugh. And the Canadiens goaltender holds it for a faceoff. There's 3:36 to go in the third period, and the Blues lead the Canadiens 2-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Wild thing is a wild thing. Come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine, as long as you just make it fine.
The good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
It's 2-1 for the Blues. 3:36 left in regulation time as the Canadiens had a couple of good chances. Schneider let a shot go from the right point, and on the rebound, Corson and Skrudland, along with Keane, were right there, and Keane put a backhander, I think, off Joseph's shoulder and just wide, but that was the Montreal Canadiens' best chance since the Blues took a 2-1 lead at 12:48 on McLean's goal from Amesso and Oates. Oates has 2 assists tonight. Hall has the other Blues goal.
Now they face off to the right of the Canadiens' goal. Ron Wilson unable to control the puck. Daigneault has it. Ron Wilson centering Brett Hull and Gino Cavallini. Featherstone and Marois in defense. Canadiens break out of their own end. Chopping the puck in is Tom Chorsky. Joseph kicks it into the corner. Played there by Gino Cavallini, the Bowling Green State University product. Marois gets the pass. Up to Hull, too far, wide of the net. Waugh tips it away from Hull. Daigneault up on the right wing to Chorsky. He played on the '88 U.S. Olympic team. Moving in over the line, Chorsky. Then he's ridden off the puck. And Marois plays it up the near right wing for Gino Cavallini. 2 Canadiens back, and a slap shot off Swoboda. Goes about 15 rows up in the seats behind the Montreal goal.
Well, Paul McLean's third period goal has been the turning point in this contest, and you'll want to read all about that goal and all the hot ice news in tomorrow's St. Louis Post-Dispatch. For home delivery of the Post, call 622-7111. Let's pause 5 seconds for station ID. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Hang in there for Who's the Boss? Weekdays at 6. 2:56 left in regulation time. Now's the time, Ken, where you can't make a mistake in your own end. You got to be strong in your own zone, strong along the boards, and make the simple plays.
The only goal the Blues have given up tonight, that first period Turgeon goal unassisted, came when Scott Stevens kind of lost his balance and lost the puck in his own end. Otherwise, the Blues have played a perfect game. Canadians stumbling a bit in their own end. They give it to Schneider, the youngster. He turns around and hands it to Swoboda. He loves to carry it to the red line. Down to the Blues zone on the left wing. Plays it off the boards behind the net to the far corner. Turgeon centers to Richer. He skates on the right wing to the boards. Makes a couple of good moves. Basson rides him out. Now Savard behind the net. Spinning away from Stevens. Savard tries to center, and a fine defensive play by Jeff Brown to block the centering effort and clear the puck down the ice. 2:17 to go. 2:17 to go in the third period. 2-1 Blues. Here comes Montreal. Schneider on a feed from Swoboda. Zigzags through center ice. Over the St. Louis line. Along the near boards. Plays the puck behind the net. Stevens goes after it with Savard all over him. And Stevens able to clear to center ice. The Blues with the second best road record in the league this season. Trying for their 14th road win. Get the puck at center ice and dump it in with 1:48 to go. Schneider for the Canadiens. To Daigneault. Up to Turgeon. A pass off Keane's skate at center ice, and Oates leaves the puck for McLean, who has the goal that's made the difference, and he'll shoot it in. 1:35 remaining. Canadiens with the puck in their own territory. The Blues not letting them out of their own end. Stymieing them at center ice. Keane will try his luck. Slowed up by Lowry. Finally shoots it in. Joseph out of the crease behind the net, and the play is offside. It is offside Montreal, and the clock now down to 1:20 to go. The Blues tonight out shooting the Canadiens 33-28 and leading it 2-1.
This broadcast is authorized by the St. Louis Blues Hockey Club solely for the entertainment of our viewing and listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the St. Louis Blues is prohibited. 1:20 left. The Blues lead 2-1 as they try and hang on and remain undefeated on this road trip. Blues send out Wilson, Hull, and Basson. Basson on the wing now. He can play either position. The Canadiens have Skrudland, Corson, and Keane out there, and they'll be out there for a while, Ken, but you can bet in the last minute Richer will be on the ice.
Here's the face-off on Wilson and Skrudland. 1:20 to go. And Wilson slaps the puck ahead all the way back into the Canadiens' end. We'll keep an eye on Patrick Waugh. Daigneault behind the net. Boy, he's got to be 5 pounds lighter than when he started. He's played so much. To Skrudland. The center ice long shot turned aside by Joseph. Waugh goes to the bench with 1:05 to go. Now behind the Blues goal, Scott Stevens falls in the puck, and with 1:03 remaining and the Canadiens' net empty, play is stopped, and there figures to be a face-off in the Blues zone with the Blues leading it 2-1.
And I bet they will replace Patrick Waugh right here with a 6th man with the face-off in the Blues end, and 63 seconds left. I talked earlier about the Blues game last year in this building. They tied 3-3 when 2 lucky goals were scored on the Blues late in the game. But over the years, the Ghosts here at the Montreal Forum have worked wonders. Not to say that Montreal's not a good hockey team, and not that they haven't been a good team, but it seems like they have a 7th man somewhere in this building, and at times it works against the opposition.
Well, as we mentioned, the Canadiens unbeaten in their last 7 here. They've lost only 6 times at home this year in some 22 games. So they have been, as you point out, very effective here as always. The Canadiens calling a timeout. Brian Sutter on the Blues bench doing some diagramming for this face-off, which will come up in the circle to Curtis Joseph's left. Joseph over to the bench getting some water. He's been very steady. It's, we mentioned, his first appearance ever at the Forum. If you're not a great hockey fan, that may not mean anything to you. But if you followed hockey for a while, playing here would be like a rookie ball player playing for the first time in Yankee Stadium or at Busch Stadium, and it's something. And Joseph's been more than steady in this one.
He stopped 27 of 28 shots. The Blues have outshot Montreal 33-28 and lead 2-1. Now Skrudland out with Keane, Corson, Schneider, Richer, and Desjardins.
Ready for the face-off. Basson against Skrudland. Blues just want to get the puck and get it out of their own end. The Canadiens' net is empty. 2-1 Blues. They try to line up, discuss it with Gerard Gauthier, the linesman, who says, look at Bob Basson, put your stick down, will you? He has to get his stick down first. He does. The puck slides into the corner. Schneider knocks Ron Wilson down head first into the boards. He's dazed. They bat the puck around. Basson taken out by Corson. 53 seconds to go. A battle along the boards. Skrudland flips the puck ahead. Brown behind the Blues net. Plays it up the boards to Sutter, who tips it to center ice. It's left there. Ron Wilson takes a shot from the red line, and it hits Basson in the skate. 38 seconds remaining. Richer comes up the rink to the red line. Long shot. That goes wide, hits the end boards in the back of the net. Jeff Brown slaps the puck along the boards and out to center ice onto Ron Wilson's stick. The Canadiens' net is empty. Ron Wilson checked at the Canadiens' line with 22 seconds to go. Here's Skrudland, right wing to Keane, over the line. He'll shoot it behind the Blues net. Corson centers on. Ron Wilson back checking. What a play. Gets the puck and sends it all the way to the Canadian zone. 8 seconds to go. Canadiens lose it. Rich Sutter shoots. He scores. Rich Sutter shoots from the blue line to score, and the Blues take the lead 3-1. Rich Sutter, an empty net goal here at 19:54, and the Blues will take home only their 8th victory ever from the Forum in Montreal, and only their 3rd win here in the last 10 seasons. And what a road trip for the Blues, a 4-game swing, and they'll end up with 3 victories and a tie.
What great defensive hockey by the Blues. Basson made the play, knocking the Canadian off the puck, and Sutter got it and flipped it into the empty net. His 12th of the year, his 3rd empty net goal. It comes with 6 seconds left, and the Blues lead 3-1, and they will win this game here in Montreal, their 2nd win against Montreal this season.
They beat them 3-0 earlier. 3 seconds to go as the Canadiens get the puck. A long shot by Daigneault is wide, and that'll do it as the siren sounds, and the St. Louis Blues tonight congratulating young Curtis Joseph, his first appearance ever at the Forum in Montreal, and the youngster picks up a victory. And Patrick Waugh, who held the Canadiens in the game for a long time, especially in the first period, will take a rare loss here in his home ice. The Canadiens see their 5-game winning streak ended, and their 7-game unbeaten streak at home come to an end as Brian Sutter's team comes up with a brilliant performance tonight to score a 3-1 victory over the Canadiens. Let's take a look now at our Budweiser 3 stars.
Adam Oates, number 3, had a couple of assists, played another tremendous game. The number 2 star, Paul McLean, had the winning goal. It's great to see him score. And the number 1 star tonight, Brett Hull, who had number 45 in a power play in the second period. So Hull, number 1, McLean, number 2, and Oates, our Budweiser 3rd star.
A victory in New Jersey, a victory at Madison Square Garden, a tie in Quebec, and a win in Montreal. That's how it goes on a 4-game road trip for the Blues. Again, the final. The St. Louis Blues 3, the Montreal Canadiens 1. Back at the Forum in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Brett Hull, Paul McLean, and Rich Sutter score, and the Blues come up with a 3-1 victory over the Canadiens here at the Forum in Montreal. Welcome back to the Forum. I'm Ken Wilson along with John Kelly. A nice victory, a very successful road trip, 7 points out of 8, and for my money, about as good a hockey game as you'll ever see. 2 very skilled teams, John, playing very well coming into the game, and it was 3 periods of hockey that win, lose, or draw, I think everyone would have gotten their money's worth.
No question about it. The Blues, a couple of keys tonight. They were intense right from the outset, unlike last night's game in Quebec when the Blues weren't quite ready to play. And they skated with Montreal all night long. They hit with Montreal, out-checked them, outworked them, and they got the break in the 3rd period, went ahead on McLean's goal and got the empty netter, and they deserve these 2 points tonight.
Canadians got a Turgeon goal in the 1st period. Brett Hull tied it on a power play goal in the 2nd period, and in the 3rd period, the big goal of the night, Paul McLean, a little tap in. Oates, a great pass to Momesso, who was stopped. McLean getting the rebound at 12:48, his 5th goal to give the Blues the lead. Then Rich Sutter scored unassisted at 19:54 into an empty net. The Blues out shooting the Canadiens by a margin of 34-28, and now the Blues head home, definitely with a head of steam, to face Washington Tuesday night, and the same Canadiens at the arena on Thursday night. And John, I can't help but go back to what Canadiens coach Pat Burns said today. The Canadiens have a lot of media covering their team. They, to a man, were saying, Coach, the Chicago Blackhawks have the best team in the Campbell Conference. And Pat Burns said, no, I think the St. Louis Blues are the best team in the Campbell Conference. And I think he's probably saying to the media in the locker room right now, what did I tell you?
That's right, I told you so. But the Blues have proved this year that they can win in almost any building. They win here in Montreal tonight, only their 8th win in 24 years. They've won in Calgary, they've won in Edmonton. They should have won in Boston. They were ripped off there. They have proven they can play with the best teams in the league.
A lot of good things would seem to still be ahead for this St. Louis Blues team, who head home now after getting 7 out of 8 points on a 4-game road trip. What a trip for Brian Sutter's Blues. Well, our next telecast on KPLR TV, St. Louis 11, coming up on Saturday, the 26th, when the Blues take on the Detroit Red Wings. We'll also see you, of course, the 22nd, when the Blues will be in Minnesota and also in Detroit on the 25th. Our next broadcast on KMOX Radio this Tuesday at home against the Washington Capitals. The pregame show at 7:20 and the game broadcast at 7:30. For John Kelly, this is Ken Wilson. Thanks for joining us tonight at the Montreal Forum. Once again, the final score, the St. Louis Blues 3, the Montreal Canadiens 1. St. Louis Blues hockey has been a presentation of Bud Sports through the facilities of KPLR TV and KMOX Radio.
Left wing, right in a shot. He scores! Brett Hull! Down to Brett Hull, back to Brindamore. The ground drive. He scores! Jeff Brett! That's by one hand. Across the east line and drive. He scores!
St. Louis Blues hockey has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beer. Remember, know when to say when. By Southwest Airlines, providing frequent flights and low, unrestricted fares to many exciting destinations. By your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Rockland GMC. By your local McDonald's restaurant. Stop by for food, folks, and fun. Buy Shop and Save. The more you shop, the more you save. Buy Discover Card. It pays to discover, the card that pays you back. Buy AutoZone, the best part in auto parts. And by Taco Bell. Where else can you get so much great food for just 59 cents? Run for the border.